That one was spicy.
So the Warriors have to play 48 minutes.
So I see this going 7. I have it. I have the Nuggets in 7.
Ant-Man, Batman, Watchmen, Lakers in 5.
Well, it's money time now.
What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? So, your boy was under the weather on Thursday. Usually Thursday is our normal night, so we pushed the show back over to the weekend. And we're gonna come on the heels of the game 7, in which I was hoping for a classic, and it just kind of got out of hand, man. Oh my God, my boy Russ. My boy Russ tried, but Denver ran out of gas. Joker got kind of figured out tonight. And so, welcome to another episode of 10 Toes Down podcast. My usual partner, JB, is working tonight, man. I gave him the link. He might, get a break and come check in. So we got CW, the co-host of the Go Case podcast. My homie over here, and T Perfect from Go Jays Kingdom has showed up. You know what I'm saying? So, we had a little conversation earlier, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So I the theme that I had, and I actually made a rant on it on my channel, was how the playoffs this year, with the physicality, it seems like a little bit of physicality is being used in these playoffs, and the scores kind of reflect it. So you see some of these 80s, 90s type scores, what scores being in the 80s and 90s, where you see some of these 90s and 2000s type low scores because of the added physicality we've noticed in some of these games. Again, the ones I obviously as a Knicks fan, the ones I've been watching, it was Detroit and the Knicks and the Knicks and Celtics. And the Detroit and Knicks were just a lot of clutching and grabbing going on. So I think what we've been seeing in this playoffs, and I think it's been very entertaining actually. I think it's been very entertaining. Garth. Like, listen, Garth, I know you gave me props and all this. I'm on my victory lap, bro. I haven't been over there an enthusiast that much, and but I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? For all you guys have been saying, oh, the Knicks ain't got no chance, the Knicks ain't got no contenders. Again, this is the 10 Toes Down podcast. I want you to know that King Speech Row has said it all year. The Knicks will be real in the playoffs. On my Instagram page, I actually posted Mitchell Robinson that one sequence where he guarded all 5 Celtics and then switched over to Jaylen Brown in the corner and gave him a mean mug deflection and got that steal. So again, when I say Mitchie, I've been saying it all year here on the 10 Toes Down podcast. And all year, Ro has been saying this all year before there was a 10 Toes Down podcast. Mitchie is going to be that important, bro. And again, this kid, it's funny because I ran into him up in Walmart, up in Westchester County a couple of Christmases ago. And you wrote like, bro is all of 7 feet, bro. And he's a goofy cat, man. He was doing Christmas shopping for his ornaments up there. I know he lives up there in Westchester County. So Mitch, I personally, he's the longest tenured Knick. We literally got his draft pick to get him from OKC in the Carmelo Anthony trade. So that's a good thing, man. For real. Like, for Mitch to come back, again, I'm gonna say this again. What Joel Embiid did to him last year is foul. It did that. Let's see, if he had did that to Joel Embiid, with Joel Embiid nursing that knee injury, and Joel Embiid was out for as long as Mitch was, everybody would have been calling the Knicks dirty, this, that, and the third. So ironically, Mitch made his season debut the night that Joel Embiid was announced out for the season. So, hey, it's all good. So, with that said, again, Knicks has been the series I've been watching the most. You had a classic 7-game series with in the first round with didn't Denver win 7? Yeah, so you had 2 out in the West. You had Denver and
Clippers.
the
Clip.
Clippers went 7. Yeah, and a good center matchup with Zubac and Joker. Joker just took it, and then obviously they went 7 again, and they came on the short in this time. And you had the 7-game series with Golden State and Houston, right? So I know you've been covering. I know you covered it on the GoCast podcast. What is your take, CW?
Yeah, on these second round series.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Boston to be a little tougher, but the Knicks just showed, like you said, it feels a little throwback. It feels like the Knicks of old. They kind of toughed it out. They took the 1-2 swings from the Boston Celtics. They would get up early and then they would just chip away, and just stay focused. So, I mean, kudos to the Knicks. I picked Boston in 6, but the Knicks they just played a more solid game. They weren't afraid of the moment. Brunson was being the clutch player he's been all season, and I mean they showed up where Boston just kind of fell apart when they couldn't make threes. When they couldn't hit the shots, they fell apart. So kudos to the Knicks. Like you said, Jokic got figured out today. I think these 2 7-game series wore him out. He had to play some big men. There's not a whole lot of bigs in the league that are like his size that can battle with them one-on-one. But
Mm-hmm.
but having to go against Zubac first round and then Hartenstein and Chet, both of them kind of double team him, kind of like the Timberwolves did last year with Cat and Rudy and Nas Reed. It wore him down, and OKC fooled me. I didn't think they had it in them to show up in big games, but they're for real. So I think they're going to be a tough matchup for the Timberwolves, who got through a Stephless Warriors, and then of course, what was the other? The Pacers just did what they did to the Cleveland Cavs. The Cavs had the injury scares with those guys, and the Pacers just show that they're a good, solid team. So I think the conference finals will be very good. I think the NBA is in a good spot right now, and they got to be happy about these rounds and these games.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So T Perfect, you got anything you want to say? You want to your take on it?
I mean, I definitely agree with CW. It's been, I mean, kind of an unexpected playoffs. I definitely had Boston and Cleveland in the finals, or in the Eastern Conference Finals too. But I mean, it was tough losing Garland and Mobley from like basically the beginning of the series. I mean, but Indiana played very well, and they were just doing everything right. I mean, I think Boston was done after Game 2. I mean, you lose 2 in a row at home after having huge leads. That's just so demoralizing. And then obviously Tatum went down, but the Knicks are for real. Just unexpected, I mean, obviously the Wolves and the Pacers were in their finals last year, as far as the Western and Eastern conferences go. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of surprising. I think OKC's going to win. I expected them to win today. They did. I think they'll learn to have a little bit more killer instinct next series. But I mean, they can't discount the Wolves. But I think it's going to be Knicks OKC, and I will watch that.
Yeah. I mean, and then look, at the beginning of the playoffs, I've said here, look, everybody had their brackets filled out, right? Just like college, but more in the NBA, if you go chalk or it's a little easy. In college, we get all types of upset because it's a one and done scenario. In the NBA, obviously a 7-game series, usually the better team wins. And I think in every instance, the better team won. And again, when it comes to these 7-game series, this is not like when you use the regular season matchups, you can gauge some things off the regular season matchup. I say this all the time. You can gauge some things, but it's a lot different when you're sitting there and you're seeing a team come in. You get for a home court advantage, they come into your city, right? They stay there for a couple of days for game 2. They fly out home after game 2. You come in and you fly in ahead of game 3. So y'all kind of in the same predicament. This is not like the regular season where you have a team that's been off for 3 days and the other team's in the middle of the road trip. How much can you really take from those regular season matchups. As as I posted on Instagram, right? The Knicks were 0-4 against the Cavs. The Knicks were 0-4 against the Celtics. Well, two of those teams was out, and then I had a question mark on the OKC. They were 0-2 versus OKC because I didn't know what the outcome of the game was going to be. But OKC is not. So basically, the top three teams, and now only one of them are still playing. Again, you can't just you gotta take what you judge off of those regular season matchups. Don't take it as a Bible. Don't sit there and totally throw them out. Because again, what you're gonna have is, as you saw with the Knicks, a lot of adjustments. Boston came in, did what they did, right? They did what they did in the regular season. Came in, they threw the steady diet of threes, hitting a lot of them. They weren't even hitting a lot of their threes. Still got in the first game, still got the lead. The second game, they took less threes, same percentage, still got the lead. But when it came down to it, and this is the other thing too. Obviously, those teams that are not good fourth quarter teams don't make championship plans. The Knicks have been the best fourth quarter team, in my opinion, and I think they have the best fourth quarter player in Brunson. You've seen Mikal Bridges not only come alive offensively, you've seen him play his best defense in the fourth quarter. So that's a big. What up, JB? JB look like he's tuning in. JB's my normal partner, and but you see these guys, OG and Anobi, you see these guys step up in the fourth quarter is the most important part. So a lot of people, again, Lakers and LeBron fans, I told you guys it was coming. Did I think that I told you guys it was coming because number one, your defense was never that good, right? We understand from January 1st to whatever. Again, you caught a lot of teams coming in tired. I'm gonna be real. I saw that during the regular season. It seemed like all the Lakers opponents were coming out west, especially when the Lakers were home, right? And they're home for a while, then they go on that big Grammys road trip. And this happens every year, right? So they go on that when the Grammys are in March, they're going on a big road trip. So they'll get a steady diet of home games, and they'll go on a road trip. And you see they struggle with the road trip. They struggled. They lost to Boston that second time. When they caught Boston, Boston was in the middle of a 4 games and 6 night, and had just played the Clippers, in an overtime game the night before. So they got to get the Lakers in a back-to-back after an overtime game. Well, they stomped them. What up, Go Jays Kingdom?
What up?
Peace, God. So, again, you got to take when you're judging the playoffs, realize now you're coming in. And as I said, I called the Minnesota series. I called it in 6 because I was giving, LeBron and Luka respect of getting a second game. But I saw that coming. I saw the matchup coming. I saw the fact that Rudy was going to be a factor defensively. Jaden McDaniels was going to be a factor defensively. I said one of the keys, Jaden McDaniels does not need help on LeBron or Luka, whichever. And, obviously I'm going to put him on a Luka. That was the strategy that they ran. So, again, the Lakers also ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. Again, the key stat, they scored 85 points in 5 games. That's 85 points in 60 minutes of basketball in the fourth quarter. The most important part. So, it is key to have a deep team. It is key to have a conditioned team. Look, everybody's injured. As we said, I want to talk about the Cleveland situation. We also had the little goings on in Denver where we kind of got an idea of why Malone got fired. Allegedly, there was a beef, and if we're going to look at who talked to Ramona Shelburne and broke this whole thing about Malone giving Westbrook too much preferential treatment, it seems to be pointing to Michael Porter Jr., who did not have the greatest series either. So with all those things going on, you gotta take that into account. Look, if you want to make, especially in this day and age, I've said this for the longest as well. Not only have we not had a repeat championship since the back-to-back Warriors, the champion to 20 from 20, 21, 22. Well, obviously, Toronto lost Kawhi, but none of these teams have even gotten out of the second round. So this is the era of parity, and this is the era where you can't rely on what you did last year and think that's going to repeat. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, bro. Wow, I got Garth going at Ghost James Kingdom. Oh, they're arguing. They're arguing. Garth. I've known Garth for a while in these Facebook streets. He's a big LeBron James fan, and
We should get
shout
along
out for
pretty well then.
coming through. Thank you
I
for
know
watching.
they should be
But
allies. Then, boy.
they're arguing over who's the bigger LeBron fan. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So, again, those are the themes here. Like what I'm saying. Look, again, I like to speak truth to light, man. All the ESPN prognosticators, they're not talking about these things. They look at it. Well, Boston was this, and they did this last year. Well, Boston also caught a lot of teams that were injured. They caught not only injured, but their first or second or third best players missed games. Obviously, Spider and Allen last year with Cleveland. I thought Cleveland would have gave them a better series. Their first round matchup. I know they played in the conference finals. I know they played Indiana, who lost Halliburton after game one. Like Halliburton was never the same. So, and I'm not look. I think Indiana's some frauds. We'll get into that later. But I respect Indiana's punching power, as I said.
Oh, you think they frauds?
I think they're frauds as championship contenders, but I do respect their punching power. See, that's one thing about Indiana. They score. They got waves of scorers, right? But I think like they don't play enough defense. They don't rebound the ball well enough. You know what I'm saying? But I do think they would have actually got a series if Halliburton never got hurt. You understand what I'm saying? Like, as a matter of fact, they almost lost game one. If we remember, Boston almost lost game one and came back, had that miracle like corner shot from Jaylen Brown, remember? And then you had but after they lost Halliburton, there was no chance, so they won that game in that series in a sweep. Again, now, no, don't get me wrong. They did play a healthy Dallas, right? And they masterfully guarded Luka and all of that. But what I'm saying is I felt if things happened differently in the East, if guys were not healthy, well, so now they got relatively healthy. At least they had their top two stars in Orlando, and they got a battle in Orlando. Even if it was 4-1, and they did blow out they did have a blowout in the closeout game. They did have a battle, and so I think they were a little overconfident, a little cocky. A lot of Boston Nation again, Calabrini, all these guys. I mean, damn, I wish I could clip them all up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because they gave the Knicks no respect, and I was one to say, hey guys, the Knicks have played you good. The Knicks have played really. I mean, seriously, the Knicks played the Celtics evenly for about 3 or 4 years. Last year, they got the Knicks 3 times early in the season before the Knicks made the OG Anunoby trade. They didn't get us again to the last. Now, they had already wrapped up everything, and they said, okay, we're not taking this game seriously. But I do remember seeing them press Jalen Brunson half full court and still drop 39 on them,
Ooh,
so again,
6.
you got
Knicks are
Pacers.
garbage.
Okay, so hey, let's get into that. You got Pacers at 6?
Honestly, no. I think the Knicks will win, just because. I mean, they're going to be a different challenge for the Pacers, because you see Cleveland, right? They were coming off like they were this pre-ultimate 3-point shooting threat, like them and the Celtics. Like they had like 5 or 6 guys who were hitting 40% from the arc, and like it would have been the same thing, but Indiana just, humped up with them. I think the Knicks are a lot more balanced offensively, because you got Cat, you've got guys like Hart, and I don't know, we can slash. They can do 3-and-D. They'll play much better defense. I think their inside-out game will be too much for the Pacers, but I wouldn't rule the Pacers out, because they have very balanced scoring. They can defend pretty much anyone. They throw a lot of guys at Brunson, but I think the home court and healthy Cat will be the difference. But it really just depends on. I think the Pacers have a much deeper bench, but we'll see. It's going to go 6 or 7, but either way, I think it'll be a great series, and the winner loses to OKC, so it'll be fine.
We'll get to what Knicks.
I think the Knicks will pull it off. I think it'll, because I don't feel like the Pacers have really had the biggest challenge so far. They've had the Bucks Lillard went out. The Bucks I felt like had a weird game plan for them, and it just didn't pan out. And then with the Cavs, like I said, Garland and Mobley out early, so the Cavs never really got their footing. I feel like really against Indiana. Indiana just seems like they're, they got a chip on their shoulder. So I think they're going to go into New York with the same type of feel. Like they're going to go to Madison Square Garden and say, you know what, we're going to take this. And they can. But I think in the end, like T Perfect said, I think because the Knicks have a varied offensive attack they can use. Brunson can get it inside. They can shoot from the three for the most part. Not the greatest 3-point shooting team, and they have Mitchell Robinson who they can get down low and play the inside out type of game. I think that will give the Pacers, a lot of trouble. And I think that the other thing is the Knicks can run with the Pacers. The Pacers like to get up and down on the court, and the Knicks can, they can match their speed and everything. So I think it's going to be a good series. I think it'll go 6. I think Knicks will win in 6, but I think there'll be some close games. I don't think it's going to be blowouts in any of them. I think they'll all be fairly close.
Yeah,
but Knicks in 6.
Yeah. So I'm okay. So you got Knicks in 6, and again, I'm going to go Knicks in 5 right quick. And again, this is respect to the Pacers, man. Look, I like Obi Toppin.
Oh, you disrespecting dang.
I like Obi Toppin. Like I played with his dad back in the days at West Fourth. Like Obi Toppin, I didn't even know that was his dad until I saw him on TV. Right, but yeah, the Toppin brothers. He raised both of them. One went to Kentucky, one went to Dayton. So, look, I'm gonna say this: the Knicks are gonna stomp a mud hole in Indiana, and I'm not saying no. It's not gonna be easy. I just think the Knicks are a battle-tested team, and you got to realize that, right? I noticed a theme. with OKC. I think OKC is a team that in a wide open blowout type of game, when that three is hitting and that defense is on point, they were going to win out. But if the game was close, like tonight, I think if the game would have went down to a fourth quarter, right? If it was a close game in the fourth quarter, I think Denver would have pulled it out. I think OKC needed to throw a knockout blow early. And that was kind of the way I felt about the Celtics, where they need to knock you out, because I don't think, and it's one thing, they don't look at the first 2 games, they had a chance to win the game, the ball in their hands. The Knicks made the perfect defensive play. And again, this is one of the arguments I'll have on other channels and stuff like that. If you don't got a mid-range game, especially when you're down 3 or you're down 1 or down 2, if you don't have that mid-range game to make everybody respect your, again, we saw in game 2 what Jason Tatum did, right? He went to his left. He had to switch he went with Mitch. He went to his left. Then he went to the side. Next thing you know, he's throwing it out. Again, Mikal Bridges with that long arm, that 7'1" wingspan, got the deflection. Mikal Bridges got to steal on Jaylen Brown in game 1. There is something to be said. There's some teams play better from in front, and some teams play better in a battle. Now, again, I think Indiana is one of them teams that play better in a battle. I don't like Tyrese Halliburton running the offense in a tight game down the stretch, especially against the Knicks defenders. I'm going to tell you this right now. You can see it in the numbers. Wingstop, we've been calling them Wingstop with the combination of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. Wingstop is the place to go for Wingstop in the playoffs. They have, you just look at the job that OG did on Cade Cunningham in the first round. And before Jalen, and I know Jason Tatum had the great game 4 where he had 42, but nothing was easy. OG Anunoby has been playing elite defense in the playoffs, and I think that's the key. They're going to go. Who do the Pacers go to? If the game is tight, if they're down by 7 points, who do they go to in the fourth quarter of these games? That's one thing I've noticed with the Pacers the last couple of years. Yeah, they play good, great. When the 3 is hitting and they get to a 130 something game, look, the Knicks can get 130. The Knicks dropped 143 on a good. This is back when Memphis was playing good defense. We dropped 143 on Memphis. We dropped 143 on Sacramento. Now they're not a great defensive team, but you know the Knicks have shown you they can both play a mucked up game, a low scoring, battle it out, grab them, clutch and grab game, and they can play that wide open game as well. Again, the Knicks got basically 4 guys who score about 18 points a game. And then you got 2 guys who can explode for 40, 50. I mean, look, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson both had 60-point games last year. I mean, y'all got to realize that. Like, the punching power might be – again, now Indiana got some guys that can come and score off the bench. Again, I think Thibodeau's guys can play long minutes, as we seen. We saw a bit in that overtime game. We saw Mikal Bridges play 51 minutes. He got stronger down the stretch. And that Mr. Iron Man, Mr. Starks himself, Mikal Bridges, you know what I'm saying? So, I think the Knicks will win because of all of those things that I said. The Knicks can counter their offensive punch, and they can match their offensive punch. I think the Pacers played probably a better offensive style, but then again, so here's the issue: they're not a good defensive team. I know they got Turner who can play good defense. The next thing, they didn't see Mitchell Robinson last year. They didn't see OG Anunoby after game 2. And again, I think I'm gonna tell you right now, if those two, health is always an issue with them. But if those two play 70-something games, you might be talking about 2 of the candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. I think they're that good defensively. I mean, I literally, I'm not just this is not Homer's glasses. I sit there and see them do things that nobody else is doing defensively. Again, I point out to that one play when the Knicks went up 31-30, 31-20, where Mitch would literally, with that bad ankle and all, rotated around the entire Celtics. He guarded one Celtic after the next. Then he had himself one-on-one with Jaylen Brown in the corner, and he just forced Jaylen Brown had nowhere to go. He was on an island, and he just turned the ball over. That was one of the 7 turnovers. Mind you, Jaylen Brown fouled out with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. So that was a rough night for him. And as we know, they came out with his tour. Look, I knew that the knee. I'm not even going to kill Celtics fans for that, but I knew that the knee. That knee wasn't looking right coming into the playoffs. Again, here's the thing, bro. Everybody's injured, right? You know what I'm saying, guys? Everybody's got something going on. Remember, Jalen Brunson's ankle is not 100%. Okay, and I said this: his ankle won't be 100% until we in the middle of the summer. So everybody's have to go through it. And I want to segue this to the whole Cleveland situation, where it seemed like there was a little divide in the locker room over Hunter, and I know and I will give an apology to Mr. Garland, because I said this on FYF, that Garland not suiting up for games 1 or games. Well, he did suit up. He did at least try. And that's what Kenya Martin on Gil's Arenas said. Bruh, man, and now, you can't call me a hater when Kenya Martin, and we all appreciate Mr. Kmart and what he did. What he did, 2 finals with the Nets, the Denver Deers, even came back and put some life into the Knicks back in 2013 when we made that second round run. Kmart said, "Look, bro, that's a hard in the paint, rough and tumble guy. He played the hurt a lot. You understand what I'm saying?" So his take was, well, you guys can't even. And he was calling out Mobley and Hunter for not even suiting up or not even going through warm-ups and saying, "Hey, I ain't got it. Let me, take me out early, coach." Actually, Garland did at least try to warm up in games 1 and games 2, and he with the turf toe. So again, I'm gonna say I was wrong because I did not know that Garland actually did, go through warm-ups, and that's all I have to ask, right? This is the playoffs. If you're hurt or if you're injured, hurt is one thing, injured is the next thing. Now, but apparently, again, these guys on the Gil's Arena, I'm just going by what I watched their content, said that there was a little bit of a divide, and Strus came out with the, if you ain't ready to suit up or you ain't ready to play, go home, stay home or whatever, right? And that was taken a kind of way, and then Strus, of course, Mr. Strus went 0 for 9 in the closeout game, but Let me tell you something. What you can notice, a theme you can notice, a team that averages 28 assists a game on a season had 10 in an elimination game. So what does that tell you a little bit? A lot of guys probably were out there going for self. A lot of guys they felt the kind of way. This is the playoffs, guys. It's almost like again. So Mr. Strus, who probably relies on screens from a couple of guys, who probably relies on from 28 a game to 10 in a go home game, 28 assists to 10. That tells you something on in that lineup, in that locker room, and that's one of the between the injuries and everything else. Also the Denver situation that we heard that they didn't like the Westbrook treatment. Again, I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a Westbrook fan. You could call Westbrook the biggest knucklehead in the world. Every teammate who said something about Westbrook, they love him, except for LeBron James, of course. Whatever, Westbrook is a preparer, bro. Westbrook doesn't cheat the game. Like, if you ever see Westbrook loafing it out there, you let me know. Give me the clip. Westbrook goes hard. He might play stupid. I can admit that as a Westbrook fan. But so for whatever the case, Michael Porter Jr., you might be the wrong one to challenge a Russell Westbrook in the locker room because let's keep it real. You might be more important to the Denver Nuggets now, but you weren't as good as Westbrook. Okay? You don't have an MVP. You don't have 4 seasons of triple-double. Remember, they was calling you the next KD coming out of college. And I know you had the back injuries and all of that. The neck injury, he's lucky to be playing, right? But if you are, look, it ain't got to be kumbaya. Sometimes a little bit of strife on a team is good for a team. But jealousy like that, I mean, again, Westbrook provides something that the Denver Nuggets need. They need a little bit of fucking. They need a little, and again, everybody can't sit there and be a catch and shoot scorer around Jokic. When Jokic's off the floor, who's going to be the offensive creator? Who's going to be the So that situation again for those two teams. Well, Denver actually kind of performed as well as you could expect, getting to a game 7 of both series. Yeah. But those two teams that have their little issues that they have, I mean, again, it's that when you ask that where you go from here, where does Denver go from here with that? I don't know, and I'm not even looking at salary cap situations and all that. But if you're not leaving it out on the court and in Cleveland, I don't know what the Cleveland do. Cleveland try to bring back that whole team, and there's some rough feelings between Hunter and Mobley and. Again, I'm just gonna I think I'm gonna sit there and say Kmart was right to say, look, you got the defensive player of the year. I'm gonna need you to at least go through warm-ups and and put your suit on. At least be suited up. Don't be in street clothes. That's just my thing, bro. So yeah, you guys really have any thoughts on any of that? Because this is what I'm heard. And I know this through watching content and I'm a trusted sources. Any thoughts, CW or T Perfect?
Nah, you said pretty much everything. I mean, Russ, I thought has been pretty good for Denver. So,
in my opinion, save the season. And again, I always say this about Russ. Look, Russ is like he's like what car is he's like a Honda Civic, man. I don't know, like what car is like it got speed, but you got to handle it real good. Like it ain't got the best handle. You know what I'm saying?
Civic would be a good example, definitely.
Yeah, you gotta kind of drive it carefully, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you drive it right, it can do well for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, Russ has been a godsend for them, and like you said, he's providing energy. Obviously, yeah, he'll make some boneheaded plays sometimes, but yeah, he's out there because he'll give them scoring, he'll give them energy, defense, and that's sometimes like what they lack. And like, yeah, he can play make when Jokic is on the bench because without that, like especially if Murray is down, like there's no one out there. That team's trash.
Yeah,
like we saw it a lot of these playoffs when they're not hitting or when Jokic isn't carrying them, like they're gonna be worse than garbage. That's why their offseason is gonna be so important this year.
They need a bench. They desperately need a bench.
Yeah, they need to improve their bench big time, make some trades.
They're just not athletic enough. And I say this right, when they lost Jeff Green, they lost KCP, and they lost Bruce Brown. They lost a lot of their perimeter athleticism. So Russ at least tried to get. He was clearly a better defender.
Yeah. Also,
That
Porter
block
Jr.'s
one.
contract is terrible, and he's been ass this
Very.
entire season.
Very.
Like they need to restructure that or unload that clown because he's been a detriment. And I mean, you got to re-sign obviously. I mean Murray. I still think he's overpaid. A little less consistent for me, but Gordon needs to get paid. But we'll see what they do. We can't rule out getting rid of Jokic, but that would be a mistake, I think. But the bottom line is like all of those players are still better than that bum trash can Kobe Bryant.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah, we gonna get into that a little later.
Kobe catching strays.
Kobe catching strays, bro. I know he's trolling. I know he's trolling, man. But hey, man. Look, the Mamba influence too. That's the next thing, bro. The Mamba's not here anymore with us physically, but that Mamba spirit, and I think that's the key. See, that's one thing I didn't. Again, if I sat there and said the Mamba mentality, right? It's hard to prove the Mamba mentality, but bro, you know it when you see it, man. Some guys got it, some guys don't. And I think that's important too, man. A lot of guys, like I said, I came into the playoffs saying, you guys know, all the prognosticators tell you what your logic thinks, bro. They got to come out and play these 7-game series. We don't have no best of 5 first rounds no more. Every series now in the playoffs is a 7-game series. You got it, just like Jaylen Brown said, you got to beat us 4 times. Hey, the Knicks beat y'all 4 times. Y'all didn't think it was possible. Say again?
And the Knicks said no problem at all. We've got
no problem. No problem. Hey, we were built to beat us. Somebody said the Knicks were built to beat one team. Look, obviously Boston was the best team the last couple of years. If you're going to pick the totality of the last 2 years, Boston was the best team. So if the Knicks can beat Boston, and we can sit there and say, "Oh, what if?" No, ain't no what if. The Knicks were beating, mind you. Okay, for those Carcino, I'm calling you out on this too. For those that say that it was a Josh Hart trip, no. Well, Jason Tatum threw a bad pass and then tried to chase after it, and that's when, unfortunately, again, I hate to see it. And I'm a Jason Tatum fan because I'm a Duke fan. He was actually my first round fantasy pick this year. Damn, they want me some money. All right. And Coach B, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is my Coach B from my fantasy league, but all right. Yo, I hate to see it, but the Knicks were winning that series. The Knicks were up 3-1, and once we are up 3-1, again, Boston was going to come out, have a night. Look, it was a 59-59 game, and we obviously saw the suspect officiated in the fourth quarter where Jalen Brunson got 5 fouls in one quarter. 3 of them was just, 2 of them he was guilty. He literally was just standing there. Look, it is what it is. Okay, so y'all, but Boston fans got happy. Oh no, look, I said when Jalen Brunson waved to the crowd when he found out, that was him waving to the Boston fans. We ain't coming back here. And by golly, the Knicks put belt to asses. And again, for the you Knicks haters, what's the name on the podcast? Why are you Knicks fans? I'm gonna tell you this. Again, this is from a Knicks fan. I still live here in New York. Wherever, if I could be out there with you in Hawaii, T perfect.
It's just hot here all the time.
When the Knicks win a championship, wherever I'm at on the globe, I am coming back for the parade. As I said, I've been dreaming about this Knick parade. I've been expecting a Knick parade since '94.
Hey, you guys could have a great year this year. Knicks maybe win. The Giants will do a lot better this year, probably.
Bro, look, but and again, there's no doubt about it. We've been thirsty than a motherfucker, bro. Okay, from 2000, we only had 04 when we made the Marbury trade, right? And that was a 1-year solution. Isaiah Thomas made horrible trades around that. He made horrible coaching decisions. Not that, Lenny Wilkins is not the right guy for that team. Then he went with Larry Brown. He went with Don Chaney in there. And then it got to the point where they had to make Isaiah Thomas the coach for a couple of years. Again, Marbury, I think, got a bad rap because, unfortunately, when we made the Marbury trade, there's no Sprewell anymore. Allen Houston basically had Michael fracture knee surgery, so him and Houston never got to play together. Kirk Thomas hated his guts for whatever reason. And yeah, the Knicks just had to kind of go, and then we just made a series of bad trades. To Eddie Curry, he came in out of shape many years. We did get Zebo, we did get Jamal Crawford, but you know what? We never put defense in the building. We just didn't have it. All right, you go into the Walsh D'Antoni era again. Let me tell you something. Walsh did a good job of cleaning up the cap. I'm a call again. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a call out Walsh because in an 09 draft, you did not. You stood pat, and I get it. But if you believe in Steph Curry, why did Minnesota need 2 point guards? They drafted Rubio, then they drafted Johnny Flynn. They had the 5th and the 6th pick. If you remember, the 6th pick was from the Boston Kevin Garnett trade. So that was Boston's pick. I mean, that was Boston's pick. That went to them. I think they had acquired it from somebody else. They acquired it from somebody else. So that was Boston's pick that they had acquired from someone else. And why didn't you trade up? Yeah, and I understand you were waiting for the summer of LeBron in 2010, but look, so D'Antoni was the wrong coaching hire. We did flip and get Melo. Look, I'm not even gonna get to the Melo because I've been arguing with Knicks fans all night on this. Melo situation, we had to do it. The lockout was coming. The Nets were trying to get him. Melo wanted to come to the Knicks, but he wanted to come to New York, so he would have settled on Brooklyn if Brooklyn would have gave him the contract he wanted. So again, we had to be aggressive there. Again, the draft picks around it. Again, we could have drafted the Joker. Phil Jackson could have drafted the Joker. He didn't. People don't realize that. We could have drafted Jimmy Butler. We drafted Amon Shumpert. I'm just saying. We could have drafted Jamal Murray. A lot of guys we could have drafted. We didn't. So, but Knicks fans have been thirsty because we've been waiting for the right combination. We've been waiting for somebody to build a team right. We're waiting for the right coach, the right superstars, the right supporting cast. We might just be here. Again, look, we got a tough series with Indiana. And if OKC and Minnesota, those two teams that, I'm going to wait till my final prediction, but I've already said Knicks in 5 over Indiana. We'll stop a mud hole.
What if Indiana sweeps you guys?
Say again?
What if Indy just comes in there with brooms, just takes you out?
What are they gonna do? They gonna sweep the popcorn off the floor? They gonna sweep the popcorn off the floor? They damn sure ain't going. They could look again. The Knicks. I'm gonna say this about last year's series. Y'all didn't see OG after game 2. Y'all lost the first 2 games. OG was that important, and so y'all didn't see Mitchell Robinson at all. Mitch is that important. Again, Mitch is coming off the bench. And I dare y'all to use the hacker Mitch. I mean, again, the hacker Mitch, Mr. Missoula, when he used the hacker Mitch in game 2, was that not the stupidest use of that strategy you've ever seen? I'm just saying. Because your team had 1 team foul, right, in the 4th quarter. You had the guy, okay, that's the warning. Get him out the game, or we going. But you hacked him. So Thibodeau left him in. And then now you put your 4th foul. But now your next foul puts you in a penalty. You would have had a foul to give. You give up your foul to give just to get this guy out. Okay, great. And then of course, Holiday getting caught. That would have been an on-the-ground foul. Knicks would have had to take it out. Instead, Jalen Brunson got the game-winning free throws. Just saying. But please use the hacker Mitch strategy. Because actually, as you notice, Mitch was 7 for 8 in a closeout game. Mitch is my boy, bro. Though for us real diehard Knicks fans, we remember when he was in the lineup with Lou Atkinson and I remember what's the white boy that came over in the trade? McDermott. We remember when he was in the starting lineup with McDermott and oh my God, bro.
Who, Mitchell
I'm trying
Robinson?
to understand this, man.
Doug
Us Knicks
McDermott?
fans have lived through. Yeah, Doug McDermott. Yeah, Doug McDermott's
Oh,
still kicking. Matter of fact, he with the Pacers, right?
I know he was with the Spurs. They traded him.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's right. I think he's with the
yeah.
Pacers.
He's been bouncing around, but yeah, we got Doug McDermott, the draft pick that got Mitchell Robinson, Lance Thomas. Yeah, he was the last Knicks captain, before Jalen Brunson. Bro, our captain was Lance Thomas. Okay, and I love Lance. I love Lance. He's another Duke alumni. Lance is a really good, just a good glue guy. But he was our captain. Okay, so for you guys that are wondering why Knicks fans are so lit, understand this. We stood hard. We stood with this team through all of that. So please, please, just a little understanding. And you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So let's go to quick preview of the other conference finals, the Western Conference Finals. Anybody want to start on that? Well, just a prediction.
Oh, for OKC and Minnesota.
Okay, say Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen OKC just play lights out. So I mean, if they come in like they did today, or I forget which game it was. I think it was the second Denver game where they just lit them up. If they come in like that, I think they beat Minnesota. Even though Minnesota has, like you said, Jaden McDaniels, Ant-Man, those guys can defend the perimeter very well. But I just think OKC has a lot of firepower, whereas on Minnesota, you got Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels can give you it, some scoring power or, scoring punch, but, he can be in and out or not the greatest at times. And then you have Mike Conley and Alexander Walker. So it just depends. I just think OKC riding off of this Denver win, I think they're going to, like you said, they're going to get that killer instinct and they're going to keep it going. And I think they'll be just a little too much for the Timberwolves. I've been down on the Timberwolves almost this whole playoffs. I picked the Lakers. I thought they would struggle against Golden State, but they've shown me that they are true contenders, and I think they'll make these games good. But just OKC just seems like a team that's poised to win. I mean, I thought they would. I thought they couldn't get it done against Denver because they just always seem to fall flat when they're big moments. But this series really showed me that they're real deal, and I think they'll win this in. I would say 4, but I'm gonna say it's a gentleman's sweep. I think they win it in 5.
All right. T Perfect. You wanna give your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I think that it's. I think they. I mean, I expected them to take care of the Nuggets like in 5 because I think that the Timberwolves are a much deeper team than Nuggets. Obviously, they don't have Jokic, but I think that I knew that they would beat the Lakers because like I said, the Lakers have no bench, and I mean, I think their improving defense once AD left was deceptive because they were catching, they were just better slightly on the perimeter, and it's a game of missed shots, so they were there, but they, when it comes playoff time and the game slows down, there's a lot more inside out play. Teams are going down the hole a lot more rather than just jacking up threes. Then you don't have any answers, especially if you're not going to play Jackson Hayes. Like I don't know why that happened, but they had no answer for Rudy. Obviously, Nas Reed was amazing. So was Randall. I mean, all these guys, they came off the bench. DiVincenzo was good. They were hitting shots. They were playing well. I mean, I think that that will continue. I mean, they're both deep, very deep teams. I think it'll be a great series. I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota won, but I think that I just think that OKC's, if they play like if Williams and Dort and Chet Holmgren aren't on a milk carton, then I think they win this series because they can stretch the floor. They're not going to have Rudy's not going to go off for what he did against the Lakers, and I think that SGA is playing pretty good basketball right now. But to me, it's a toss up. But I still have OKC winning in 6 or 7, but we'll see.
Cool. So for me, All right, so it's going to be a head versus heart thing, right? My head is definitely telling me OKC. My heart wants Minnesota. And I don't know. Again, look, I'm not as a Knicks fan, man. I don't felt like I beat the best team in the league, right? I look. I've all season I've called out Boston's Achilles heel. Oh Jesus! All right, let me not do that. I've called out their weakness. I've called out their, where you could chin check them. And again, it's like that 3-point strategy. I didn't think it would work in the playoff, but I still think they were the best team. I still think they had the best talent roster, top to bottom. Right? Obviously, losing Tatum hurt, and then losing, having Porzingis have that strange viral infection, kind of took a little bit of that punch away. But again, they got interchangeable parts. I feel that same way about OKC. They have a lot of interchangeable parts. Everybody in that team play defense. They've gotten to they're almost the mirror. They're almost the Western Conference mirror what Boston was. Only I don't think they got two dominant wing scorers. Right. So my heart wants Minnesota because I think they'll be the easier matchup for the Knicks when the Knicks win the Eastern Conference Finals. But we also get home court advantage against Minnesota. So and then it's obviously I'm really happy for Randall and I'm really happy for Ragu DiVincenzo. See them doing well. I'm one of these guys that said, "Hey guys, you big guys was sleeping on Minnesota. Minnesota was sitting there in the 10 spot, 9 spot, 8 spot in the last game of the season. They got out of the play into the 6th round, to the 6th seed. I mean, and from there I said, look, they're one of the hottest teams in the league. They weren't the hottest. They probably was like second or third. If you're looking back from going back from March 1st, and that was a key because they got on March 2nd, they got Julius Randle back in the lineup. And again, Julius Randle was a key. They went 18-4 to close out the season. I know there was a lot of cupcakes in there, but again, you caught the Lakers who were overrated, and then obviously you got a break with Steph Curry pulling the hamstring. And again, for a guy who lost a key player in the hamstring with a hamstring last year, I knew we were not going to see Steph the rest of the series. And if we did, he was just not going to be 100%. Those the hamstring pulls to that degree. Shout out to not Michael Porter, the anti-Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, who, despite the blowout, he played and played pretty well. Yeah, at halftime, I believe he had 8 points, 8 rebounds. So, again, Aaron Gordon, shout out to him. But the way they was talking about Steph's injury, seeing it with OG Anunoby last year, and knowing that he's an older, Steph is about 10 years older than OG, 10, 11 years older than OG Anunoby. I didn't expect to see Steph the rest of the series. Now, again, I like their roster to Minnesota. I think that two things. They're gonna need somebody to be the point guard. Conley is almost to the point where he's a Kyle Lowry status where he's like Kyle Lowry status where he's out there and he can make some heady plays but he's obviously physically not the guy. It's funny, bro. How old am I? Where Conley was the guy that the Grizzlies drafted when Iverson got that. When Iverson went to the Grizzlies, and Iverson had to retire because he wouldn't come off the bench for a rookie and Mike Conley. Now Mike Conley is old. Now the guy who was a rookie during Iverson's last year is now the old guy for Minnesota. But I think their issue is, again, I don't trust them in close games because they run such bad offense. Now, again, I remember the 7 for 47 3-point fiasco, and they still beat. But again, they have talent. Like obviously, Ant-Man and Julius Randle are. I think their 1-2 punch can definitely match OKC's 1-2 punch. Problem is, OKC got better point guard play, probably better coaching. I think the defense is equal. The 3-point shooting, obviously they both. I think they're both pretty streaky, but OKC have more guys who can shoot the 3. Like everybody on OKC shoots the 3. similar to the Celtics. Even Hartenstein, believe it or not, Hartenstein can knock down some threes. He can knock down a couple. He might knock down one or two. Right? Chet Holmgren, everybody knocks down threes on OKC. Obviously you're not getting that from a Rudy, and there's certain guys are not great 3-point shooters, but look, Julius Randle, if Julius Randle plays great, my head is gonna say OKC in another 7 game. I got OKC in 7, but my heart wants the Nuggets. I mean, not the Nuggets, the Timberwolves. And the reason why my heart wants it, 2 reasons. The two former Knicks that are there. Again, this is one thing about us Knicks fans. Realize we most of us real Knicks fans. If you wear a uniform, we got love for you at some point. And if you're left out without talking shit, whatever. Like I got love for Bobby Portis. He played for us one bad year, and that was the lockout. I mean, that was the COVID year. You know what I'm saying? I got love for Bobby Portis. Now I like Bobby Portis before he came to the Knicks. I got love for Bobby Portis because he wore that jersey. So again, that and the fact that I think they'll be a better matchup for my Knicks in the finals. Plus, we'll get home court advantage. So, but I'm going to say OKC in 7, just on that, just on the fact that let me say, if y'all get good playmaking, if y'all get good point guard play, y'all got a real shot at beating OKC. But that's what it meant, I still don't like OKC. OKC is a little schizophrenic too. They can play a very perfect game like they did tonight, or they can play a bad game where they let a team that shouldn't be playing with them in. So, again, maybe a couple of vintage Anthony Edwards nights and another couple of triple doubles from Julius Randle. Yeah, you could be seeing Minnesota in that. So it's not gonna be a walkthrough for OKC, So I probably agree more with T Perfect than UCW, because you got them in 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, man. That's pretty much it. I mean, anything on the playoffs, any series that we saw that it's like one series. Other series, like the 1-8 matchups, were pretty. We pretty much expected those. We obviously won 7 seed. Golden State. That was a classic. Yeah, I would say this about Houston. Again, y'all got, and that's another like Minnesota. Houston, y'all got to learn how to run plays down the stretch. Y'all really do. That's the key. You got nothing from Jalen Green. Again, I think Jalen Green is very underrated. But he shit the bed. He wet his Pampers in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah, and so that's again. I'm sorry about that. That's the key. In tight games, you got to be able to run good plays. You got to be able to run go-to plays. I think that's a little bit of the old school mentality that, we're good to play analytics basketball to 3 quarters. That final 6, it's a lot of Kay Cunningham, again, breakout year for him. But he saw that the playoffs, the lights a little bit brighter.
They'll get Giannis next year, though, so it'll be fine.
They'll get Giannis. In Houston. Well, you know what? Yeah,
Detroit.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, you think Detroit's going to get Giannis?
I mean, I've heard Detroit, sure, maybe, but I've heard like Houston has like a bunch of capital.
Oh, Houston does.
Yeah, like they're like one of the few teams who has like some draft picks, and like they can move a couple of their, like they have a deep enough roster to pull it off without having to gut the team.
Let me tell you Perfect. They got Reed Shepard, who they're not playing because where does he play? And I think Reed Shepard is going to be a terrific player. You're talking about a guy who went 50-50-90 at Kentucky, right? And he was like the 5th guard in a deep recruiting class that was John Calipari's last recruiting class in Kentucky. But he was like the 5th guard, and he went 50-50-90. He shot over 50% from 3. I think Reed Shepard is going to be a terrific player. But everybody was like, what the problem is, where was he going to play? Was he going to outplay Fred VanVleet? Like, again, they got a lot. They got their deeper guards. Thompson stepped up. Again,
VanVleet's washed. He'll get out of there.
Again?
VanVleet's washed, and he'll get out of there.
I think so, too. I think they got to move VanVleet. But again, they just gave him a contract extension. That contract is a little ugly.
Such a waste of time, man.
Yeah, he is a they call him great value. I call him great value. Jalen Brunson is really an insult to Jalen Brunson.
Hilarious.
He ain't no great value, nothing.
But think about it. His contract, he makes more than Jalen Brunson will in the contract extension. So that contract is going to be ugly to get rid of. But you know what? It might be sizable enough to move in a Giannis or a KD trade because you're going to have to match salary for salary. So somebody will have to take it and just eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's not the worst point guard in the world, but he's
Yeah,
like
that's right.
top.
KD might go there too, or somewhere.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying. So that contract of Van Vliet might be somebody might eat it. You can't buy him out for it because he just extended. So I think he got another 3 years of like 40 something million. That's nasty work.
That's
Is it like 35?
Is it
Crazy.
35? I thought it was around 40. I thought it was 40 annual value. Remember, he was making 20 before.
I mean, isn't he like 35 years old or some shit like that?
No, he's not. I know he went 4 years to Wichita State. Is he 35?
He's pretty old. Like he was.
Okay, he was on the Toronto championship team, right?
Yeah.
So, let me look that up real quick. I forget I can if I'm in this browser I can do this without.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, my bad. He's only 31.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was thinking like
31, but he'll be. You know what that means? He'll be 35 at the end of the contract, and look, somebody tried to put. I was arguing about Jalen Brunson, and somebody tried to put 2 years. They said he's 30 already. No, he's 28. He won't be 30. He was born in '96, so he won't be 30 until August. So that's the end of next season.
Brunson's prime right now.
Yeah, Brunson is definitely in his prime. So again, I think Van Vliet is. Again, to call him great value, Jalen Brunson, because he don't have none of the intangibles, but
definitely
he can still capable. Because it's funny. I was comparing the numbers when the Knicks signed Jalen Brunson. I'm like, well, damn, Brunson is like Van Vliet. And that's what I was. And I'll keep it real too. I knew that Brunson would be a good signing. We didn't know he would be this good of a signing, but I was comparing this number to Van Vliet, who was making 20 annual value at the time. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's like Van Vliet, but his numbers are way more efficient. Like he shoots 50. Van Vliet is a 40, 33 guy, 34 guy. Well, Brunson is about a 50, 33, 34 guy. So,
Van Vliet's only there for like the veteran leadership type angle. Like,
yeah, I mean, but again, if you're the point guard and you have a team that just can't execute down the stretch, that's on you. I'm gonna say this too. This is one of my thoughts out there. And I know that guys over there at FYF think we hate on the league too much. I'm gonna just say this: in addition to not having a lot of great centers, we don't have a lot of real point guards. I think we have a lot of guys who can play good guard. Like I think Kate Cunningham is a terrific player. I just don't think he's a point guard. I think we have a lack of point guards in the NBA. Let me tell you this: even Jalen Brunson is a terrific player. I think he's a better point guard than most, but I don't think he's a true off. I know you guys had the Stockton debate. Stockton was a motherfucking point guard, without a doubt. Right? Stockton was a point guard, isn't it? One thing you can never say that Stockton was a point guard. There's no John Stocktons in the league no more. There's no guys who understand that my first job is set up an offense. My first job is to direct the offense, and that's key to down the stretch plays, right? That's key to grind it out. Fourth quarter basketball. If you don't have a point guard, let me tell you this about Phoenix. Phoenix. How the hell did they expect this team to do anything? They haven't had a point guard. Now I know they got Trey Jones. I mean, not Trey Jones. They got Tyus Jones, and you would think Tyus Jones would have solved the issues, but now, okay. Once they got Tyus Jones, well, you can't keep KD, Beal, and Booker healthy, and they're all the same freaking guys. This idea of putting 3 30-point scorers on a team is absolutely asinine. And then you're going to do it with no point guard and no true center. But yeah, I don't. Again, a lot of these guys are not really good, not really true point guards. You would think of Van Vliet is, but no, he's washed. You see what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. Like, so, Hey, CW, you got that video? Because I want to do a little reaction to the conversation we had.
To the from
Yeah, from
today.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
Let me see.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
JB. Yeah, I'm trying to do the highlight
Let
of
me
the
see.
video. JB said he'll be joining us. He said it was about 30 minutes from now. So
Oh, was that on Goat James?
well, it was on both. It was on Jalen and FYF, but I was watching on FYF and it was
Okay.
gone.
Let me see. One day. I don't see it up here anymore.
Oh yeah, I know. I was watching it and then it got taken down. So I mean, look, I want some thoughts on it because we could just talk about it. Again, you guys with the '90s stuff, right? And I know it. Ajadi was going crazy today, man. Like, and I had to cook him because I'm gonna tell you one thing that I do, and I see that your guy, King John does this a lot, right? He likes to hook you on your argument. I'll say this from last night's conversation, right? Again, I tell you, T Perfect, I try to be objective. I try to take my personal feelings out of it. Again, when it comes down to the Kobe, again, we can do this whenever. I told you any debate topic, I'll be ready to rock on. But I really like personally, I got a lot of more respect for Kobe than I do LeBron right now. And I genuinely believe that Kobe's a better player. I'm not acting like, see, I got 1/7 and I got 1/8. I'm not acting like I want y'all to understand. When I do my top 10 list, top 15, top 20, it's not like I think Michael Jordan was head and shoulders above Wilt. And then Wilt was head and shoulders above Russell. And then Russell was head and shoulders above Kareem. I think if you want to talk about let's do 2K ratings, right? All time. And I know, look, it's funny because I used to play NBA Live. And the NBA Live didn't just give everybody 99s because they would whine to the goddamn developers, yo, why am I 97? Yo, they gave Jordan, mind you, they didn't have Jordan in the game because Jordan wouldn't allow his leasing, right? But he was like a 90, 89 back in NBA Live 95, back in the PlayStation 1 days, right? Okay, back in the Stone Age, back in the 90s, the nostalgic 90s, right?
He was just player. He was
player, and so was Barkley. Barkley was with him too. Barkley was player too. You didn't have Barkley on these games, right? But if I think that Jordan was a 99, then I think Wilt was a 98, and then I think Russell was a 97, and then I think Kareem was like, like the margin is very paper thin. Like, it's not like I got like Kobe in a wash, and so when I do things like it's almost like it's a tie. And what am I going to look at? And I'm going to go down my criteria to look at the tiebreakers. And I'm going to say LeBron had more teams that were expected to do something that didn't. And I'm going to say this, Kobe's best teams were better than LeBron's best teams. And that's the point that I'm looking at. And then I'm going to ask, well, did Kobe actually make his teams that great? Okay, Kobe's best teams was obviously, well, the 01 team won the 2000 team won 67 games, but they had a little bit more resistance in the finals, and then Kobe was still a young guy on that one, right? And then the 2001 team won less games. Now, they could have won 67. This is one of these situations, right? When you say Kobe was a non-factor, well, they won less games because Shaq came in after winning the first championship. This is what I used in my debate. he admittedly came in not on the like, I'm not gonna get in shape till January. And Kobe's like, what the fuck? Like the big man, you trying to go back to back. Well, I'll be ready for the playoffs. This is what Shaq admitted to. This is what the narrative was. So the idea that, like I said, when you called him a non-factor, I'm like, bro, Kobe was the guy holding it down during the regular season to keep, and again, seeding don't matter, right? A lot of people got sick like seeding don't matter, but you coming from off a Bulls generation. Jordan didn't treat his teams like that. Jordan came and pedaled the metal from game 1 to game 82, and then they made sure we got home court advantage, and ain't nobody fucking with us in the playoffs. Well, Kobe is kind of on that Jordan mode, like, what the fuck, Shaq? Why are you like? And then Shaq would ramp it up in January, blah blah blah, and then next thing you know, they go to the playoffs again. They needed both guys, and I think that's one thing, right? When you guys say, well, Kobe was a non-factor or a sidekick. Well, yeah, Kobe was the second best player. He can admit that. He's 22 years old. Of course, a prime Shaq should be better than a 22-year-old Kobe. But there's no way that the Lakers get out the West out of the first round or the second round without Kobe being Kobe. Because again, they played together 97, 98, 99. They didn't come close to winning a chip. And then when Kobe matured, got into his own, okay, well, they got the first one, and Shaq admitted, wow, I got the first one. I've been in the league 8 years. I got the first one. Now I don't have to, like come into training camp, all that fucking gung ho. Well, that's part of that narrative with those three-peat Lakers. And yeah, they needed Kobe to like keep the team, still, like they didn't want to come out and go, Shaq was nursing injuries and just fucking, again, like I remember young Shaq, they said he had 3% body fat. Well, now, at 30, he's about 30, when Shaq would have been 29, right? You're talking about now all of a sudden they looking at him as fat boy. This was unheard of, Superman, young Orlando Shaq. So that part of it, again, is the narratives, but I lived through this. I saw this. Again, and you gotta remember, I can't stand Kobe. And I'm actually loving the fact that they're beefing, but this is part of it. So Kobe, again, regular season guy, he was the guy that they were counting on until Shaq, Shaq kind of played his way into shape. It's kind of tough to do,
I mean, sure, but he was still a leading scorer that season, and he was leading the league in rebounds, right? And he was by far their best, not by far, but he was definitely their best player during the regular season and playoffs.
But you see what happens though. What I hate in those debates, we're talking about 01. So we're talking about 01, right? What I hate in GOAT debates, one thing I don't do in GOAT debates, I don't subtract from Bill Russell, that he had Hondo and Cousy and Sam Jones. Because a lot of people will say he had 8 Hall of Famers. Well, he didn't have 8 Hall of Famers all on one team. There was a Cousy part, and it was Cousy, Hondo, and Sam Jones. And then a couple of those late Hall of Famers came in after Cousy retired. So to act like, okay, yeah, but I don't subtract from Russell. My thing is, bro, LeBron, you can have every fucking Hall of Famer in the league if you, every all-star you want. Just go ahead and pick all-stars like you pick it out fucking a candy at a supermarket. But once you get it, what's up, Zay? What's good, Zay?
I want to get Goat's take. Goat, who is your top 10? I'm just curious before I respond.
Okay, so I'm gonna list it again. Top 10 is
not yours, Goat's.
Oh.
Or
you talking CW?
Yeah, sorry, CW.
It is different from mine. He got Duncan in his. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I got Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Duncan, Magic, Russell, Wilt, Bird. I think I had Kobe 9th and then Shaq.
See, that's a logical take. That's where Kobe belongs, and LeBron's in a fine spot too. I don't care if somebody doesn't have LeBron as the GOAT, and I personally do, but just saying that Kobe's above him is an asinine take, and here's why. And I want to get your take on this, CW, just kind of a summation here. So when you're ranking players, right, like as long as someone has a consistent criteria, no matter what it is, if you can apply it to all 10 players, if we're just talking 10 players across the board without deviation, right, then I won't harp on it. I won't bitch. I'll be like, okay, cool. I disagree, but You have a consistent criteria, which is more than 98% of these casuals out here have, right? And the only problem is if you do things like if you ignore parts of their resume or say that huge parts of their resume isn't important to you, or if it's something that basically you minimalized in order to fit a narrative, or if you say, you know what, I'm going to use your negatives mainly, but really don't apply that to players, then it becomes disingenuous. Like, here's why I think LeBron, and this is just not even compared to other players, this is just with Kobe Bryant, right? So, again, the statistics, I agree with King's speech. Statistics aren't everything when you're measuring the greatness of a player all the time, but you can't ignore them. Like, when this is the only debate where I think when you're comparing two top 10 players, this is the only debate I can think of where one player beats another player in almost everything, and they still try to make a case for their guy. He smokes Kobe in per game stats, totals, MVPs, both regular and finals MVPs. The analytics aren't even close. He's much more efficient. He's a better defender. As far as winning and team impact, even if you put them on their worst teams without all stars, or the years that Shaq didn't have Kobe or Pau Gasol, or even with Pau Gasol, LeBron was factually a higher floor raiser, higher floor lifter without the help. If we're talking about Kobe facing tougher teams, sure, but he faced them almost always with, uh, again, a top 5 player in Shaq or the best power forward in the league or top 3 in when Pau Gasol. No one's saying that LeBron James didn't have his share of help. Like, God knows he did. But even when you consider everything, everyone top 10 player in the world has had help, especially during their title runs, more than their share of help. In fact, I think the most helped player in league history, I think, was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then Magic Johnson right behind him. And then, I mean, go from there. I mean, Kareem's the only player in the world who played with the MVP, Finals MVP, and DPOY in one season, right? So, I mean, you have to be consistent across the board. And then if you're using a player's negatives, though, again, it's a slippery slope because I promise you're not going to find a way to use it or weigh it correctly, right? You're weighing the way you're going to weigh it and rank players and use it to rank is going to vary wildly depending on who your favorite is, right? Kobe Bryant was basically he wasn't a career playoff raiser. His stats are almost the same in regular season and playoffs, right? He was never the leader for his first 3 MVPs. He's the only top 10 player in the league history who didn't win a finals MVP in his first 3 title runs, right? Obviously he was good in 08 through 10. And I mean he wasn't capable of lifting a team like LeBron was, especially from looking from like '05 to '07, again, where they were struggling because they didn't have the talent around him. That's not really a knock on Kobe at all. That's just saying everyone needs help. But if you're comparing players when the rubber meets the road, even if you consider any and all context, I don't care. LeBron still comes out on top over everyone, especially Kobe Bryant. When you talk about everything that we look at to rank a player, who they played with, who their competition was. LeBron faced much tougher competition, especially in the finals. Kobe was facing tougher competition for 3 years, right? For like his first 3 titles, but again, he had Shaq. Not taking it away from him because he wasn't, and I didn't mean to say he was a non-factor throughout those playoff runs. I meant mostly in 2000 finals, but he still was clutch in a couple of those games. But no, and obviously Shaq doesn't get that far without a great player like Kobe. No one's saying that either. Like, I'm not saying Shaq could have cakewalked to the finals without Kobe. Of course not. But when you look at the entire resume means everything. Means how impactful for you on and off when your team needed you, how impactful for you on winning. What does your resume look like? It's not close. The only thing Kobe beats LeBron is defensive selections, free throw percentage. That's it. And everything else that you look at, context, measurement on winning compared to your team, when you were on and off the floor, how effective were you? Not even just on multiple teams, right? Like we saw what he was the best player in the league from basically year 4 onward, debatably. I mean, Kobe Bryant, I mean, had his great years. I mean, I would say he was maybe the best player in '06. And I mean, I think he deserved MVP votes in 2013 too. But I mean, there's no world where you can use a basketball argument to put Kobe Bryant. I have no problem with him being top 10. That's fine. I have him at 10 personally. But when you're talking about the guys who are top 5, the guys with the overall resumes who just dwarf all others, I have Hakeem, Duncan, Kareem, Mike, and LeBron. There's no room for him there. I mean, the only way that you're going to make room for him is to talk about what we've been discussing narratives when he was talking to Shaq, or who did he play in the playoffs, and what were his contributions there, and things like that. Nothing to do with like the actual resumes where you can look at his numbers, his stats, and we have to find ways to generalize that or to explain those away, and we don't just say how do they stack up together. I have no problem with Kobe being 10, but to try to put him above LeBron and by proxy Kareem or Mike is ridiculous.
All right. Now,
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I
no,
kind of
I'm gonna take
agree.
a shout out to one of your guys on one of your members over there. I know he's doing FYFN, Go Chase Kingdom, Peter Bagjuice, because he
Yeah.
came up with something when y'all had that big ass long debate. Right? He said, "What you just did, bro. You just hit us with a Spectre deck verse. Your Socrates philosophies and hypotheses. There's a lot of that in there, bro. And again, hard to counter every single point. But I'm going to make a basketball point, and I think this is the most important when it comes to my criteria. Because I want you to understand. I think the margin is razor thin. If I'm going to look at it in an all-time draft, because I think this is what I do with my goal. My goal. I'm drafting Jordan first. I'm drafting Will second. And again, I'm trying to. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do an all-time fantasy draft. Right. That means there's no Pippen yet. I got the first pick in the all-time draft. I'm taking Jordan. Then I'm taking Will. And if I got second pick, I'm taking Will. If I got the third pick, I'm taking Russell. If I got the fourth pick, I'm taking Kareem. If I got the fifth pick, I'm taking Magic. All right. Then I'm gonna figure it out from there. I'm just all of that who we played with. I'm gonna get to that later. Right. I'm gonna take the gloves off here. Fuck all that Socrates for life. If my life was on the motherfucking line, am I taking LeBron? And I got one series to win. And we're playing whoever. Am I taking LeBron? I'm taking Kobe. And here's my bet. I'm taking Kobe. Because why? When the going got tough, when the best opponent was in front of you, I think Kobe. Again, right? You could go to the finals, but again, I made the point that the finals were actually the Western Conference Finals. The finals were getting by Duncan. If the Spurs would have won, they were beating the Nets, Sixers, and the Pacers, right? Whoever came out the West was winning those championships. So when you say LeBron played tougher competition, he didn't in the East. He played a tougher competition. He played tougher competition maybe in the finals. But think about this. The guys that Kobe was playing, when LeBron was playing in the finals, Kobe had to play them every year in the West. Okay? So when Kobe had to, Kobe made the playoffs, right? He had to play a caliber team. He had to play the team that lost to the 07 Spurs. Kobe had to see the Spurs. Kobe had to see Spurs more times in the regular season. All right? So if I'm looking at who I want, and see, so again, I don't have the numbers, and my issue, I knew you were going to come with the numbers. I know what the numbers say, right? Again, Kobe beat more 50-win teams. He beat more 60-win teams in the playoffs. That's a fact. And that's including LeBron's 8 runs to the finals. Now, mind you now, when we look at that, now we come down the list. Well, okay, who was LeBron playing with? Obviously, the narrative is you didn't have a Shaq. You didn't have the type of help that Kobe did in the 3P days. But then Kobe, but this is LeBron entering his prime. Kobe didn't have a great team around him, and then they traded for Pau Gasol. I know a lot of people, Laker fans, made it out like Andrew Bynum was something. Andrew Bynum was talented as hell. That was a lazy fuck. He was lazy. Okay, let's go look at his numbers, the playoff numbers. To act like Andrew Bynum was something. Come on. All right, now some of the other guys he played with, Ron Artest. I just want you to understand the guys the same Celtics that LeBron was flaming out against, Kobe had to play in the finals. Right there, same year, Kobe outperformed LeBron in those finals. Kobe played better against the Spurs than LeBron played against the Spurs. If I'm going to say, I'm going to take the gloves off.
Did he though?
Yeah, bro. Do you understand how bad LeBron was against the Spurs personally? You understand how? See, that's one thing y'all do. Y'all don't look at the fact that in game one he was 4 for 16 with 6 turnovers, 14 points. But like Kobe didn't have and it still was. They
You
were still
talking
close games.
07?
07, yeah. And then
Okay.
they come out in 08. So now, look, I'm actually giving LeBron a pass because he was young. But wait a minute. When Kobe was the same age, Kobe was winning championships. Oh, he was with Shaq. But guess what? Look at first of all, he had to play against Duncan to get through. He had to get through Duncan to get through those, right? He had to get through Duncan. And I know Duncan didn't have Parker and Ginobili yet, right? But Duncan still had a good team around. Robinson still was not prime Robinson. Robinson still had, I know Jared Jackson Sr., right? Not exactly Tony McDaniels, right? We talked about that, right? They try to make like those teams, those guys were bums, but they weren't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of when Bruce Bowen into the conversation. I think he was on at least one of those teams that Kobe had to get through. So the same Bruce Bowen that LeBron had struggled with, right? LeBron was 35% more turnovers than assists. But universally, LeBron gets a pass because he was young. But then by the same token, Kobe has 3 rings at the same age. And but it was with Shaq. No, Kobe had to be better than Penny ever was. Because while Shaq was dominant, remember this. Shaq ain't the guy you can go through in the fourth quarter of a tight game. You're not running no plays to get a Shaq dunk or a Shaq jump hook in a tight defense, tight early 2000s defense. So Kobe would be the closer. And as I said, before Jalen Brunson broke the record for most fourth quarter points in the first 10 playoff games of a playoff run, Kobe had that record, and he had it both on 01 and 03. Again, they lost to San Antonio in 03. I believe that was a 6-game series. I'm going off of memory. I could probably look these things up. I do know that they came back and swept. I think really again. Think about this. They swept San Antonio, right? LeBron struggled against San Antonio the whole time. We all know the Ray Allen shot. They go down in 6 without the Ray Allen shot, right? And again, you're talking about life on the line, Mamba mentality. Who do I want in that fourth quarter? See, those are things that are not shown in the advanced metrics. Those are things that are not shown in the overall statistics. We all know that Kobe was a more inefficient player. Sometimes inefficiency matters. It's like Westbrook.
I mean, we gave you the clutch numbers. LeBron was way more clutch than Kobe in the playoffs.
You know what? But a lot of times, those clutch numbers, they come in now with, see, again, all things equal, they come in now where LeBron is getting layups in clutch games where Kobe is hitting shots.
That's effective scoring, dude.
You're right. But see, again, I try to do it with the all things being equal. Before LeBron can get those layups, you have to have a Chris Bosh on the floor. LeBron wasn't getting those layups with Boobie Gibson and Drew Gooden and Zoran Zagowski. No, LeBron. This is why LeBron's numbers against the Spurs were as putrid as they were. This is why LeBron's numbers against the Celtics in the 08 semifinals were as putrid as they were. This is why LeBron's numbers in 2010 to close out the conference semifinals against Boston. Well, remember, that's a 61-win team that got knocked out in the second round. And what did we do? Well, LeBron ain't have no help. Well, a 61-win team not getting out of the second round, I don't think that ever happened to Kobe.
You're right. Kobe just shot 38% on 22 points per game, 38% in 04 finals, basically replicating LeBron's performance in 07.
You're right. Look, bro, that's Kobe's.
And that's Kobe in his prime.
That was the worst I ever seen Kobe play. And I said this to any. If Kobe would have ever got to 6th or 7th ring, I would have said, bro, you know what? He ain't Jordan, because Jordan would have never let Tayshaun Prince do to Kobe what Jordan did. I mean, what Tayshaun Prince did. They did to Kobe. So again, I'm not Kobe for that, but that's the one you got. I got more for LeBron.
No, we got more for Kobe.
2011. Say again.
We got a lot more for Kobe.
Give me the next World Series. I mean, you want to tell me the Phoenix round 1 where he didn't shoot in the last game?
No, I mean, you can go down the road for Kobe, when he was, let's say, for example, when he played the Celtics, right? Like he put up good numbers overall, but he was taking he shot barely 40% from the field. Like most of his teammates and starters outperformed him as far as efficiency. He was shooting only
Think about, but
31% from
hold on,
three.
hold on, Travis. And think about that. How much of a variant is that from his normal? Because Kobe was a 44 to 45% shoot, right? He was 45% shoot for most of his career, right? So him going down to 41 is a lot different than LeBron, who, especially in those early Cleveland days, would shoot 47% and went down to 35. And again, against the Celtics, again, he went down to about 34. He had to bring his numbers up from the first 4 games. Again, I'd sit there and look at it. He was 2 for 18 in game one, Travis. 2 for 18 with 11 turnovers. That's abominable. I don't feel one series. Even Kobe 6 for 24. Kobe had 15 rebounds. And then Kobe also made four. He actually was 4 for 5 or 4 for 6 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he
And see,
yeah.
plus what we're doing here, and this is I want CW's opinion too, because what we're doing is cherry picking. Like I can tell you that overall, LeBron's playoff numbers were far better than Kobe's. His finals numbers were far better than Kobe's. They both had times where they underperformed. Sure, you're talking about 08 and 07 when LeBron was in year 4 and 5. Whereas compared to 04 Kobe, year 8 in his absolute prime, where he choked. He choked again in like he was nothing special in 05, like in 2000, like in 2010, yeah, that he dropped hard. But I mean, like Kobe was just an average playoff performer too. At his best, he was in 09. But like I said, when the whole
again,
thing
but
tells
you
us,
know what you're doing again, right? Again, we know that Kobe's inefficiency sometimes was the Lakers' strength. LeBron's over reliance on efficiency sometimes hurts his team. That you think that okay, that's a crazy basketball statement to make, right? That's a crazy statement to make. What? Well, wait a minute. Shaq was fucking efficient. You couldn't go to Shaq in a down the stretch of a tight game. You needed Kobe to make those. Again, I understand it now. We've understood mid-range basketball kill. Guess what? If you got to, first of all, look at the mid-range, the teams that use the mid-range the most right now, and the players that use the mid-range the most, they're the best scorers. The OKC has a great mid-range performer in SGA. Right, you have to have it. You can go to mid range against the Spurs, where LeBron had no mid range against the Spurs. So once they cut off his bread and butter, which is getting to the basket, and once they chase him off the 3-point line, he was ineffective. Travis, he was ineffective. Again, they did this so the elite defenses can take away. They couldn't take away from Kobe like they took away from.
Well, here's my question to you, man.
LeBron.
Like no one's denying this, but like you're talking about like as if some of these examples serve to lift Kobe over LeBron. But like here's the thing though, like you're not even if you could make the argument that he was a better playoff performer in big moments, which he wasn't at all, then you still can't get past every part of his resume, which is inferior to LeBron's.
You know what you're doing here, but you're doing it. You're using stats for it, and again, what you're not understanding is no. I'm gonna tell you this. And I saw JB. It came in. I wanted to welcome him in. He probably had a chance. If you come back, let me know, bro. Okay, yeah. CW put him in. Here's the thing. You're talking about a guy who at 2010 had 5 rings. So I'm already supporting. What I'm trying to do is support if I needed to win a series with my life on the line, I'm taking Kobe over LeBron. And I'll tell you why. Because LeBron in his efficiency won you shit. But until Kobe had 5 rings. Now, again, you want to sit there and say, well, they overcame him shooting 6 for 24. Again, that was, if you remember, nobody was scoring in that game. That game was a defensive struggle. And then Kobe actually closed it out. Trust me, bro. I'm watching it. I didn't want to see him.
Kobe didn't close it out. Ron Artest closed that out.
No, bro, again, he was 4 for 6 in the fourth quarter, though, Travis. 4 for 6.
So are we asking, because I know you guys did the debate already.
Yeah.
Who's the better player, or who's the more clutch player? Are we just saying who's the better player all time?
Who's the better player all time? And like I said, it's not close. It's LeBron. I mean, like you have to tailor your argument here
Yeah,
in
I
order to
think.
lift him above
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant.
I mean, I
Yeah, and
think
see
I
again,
mean,
and again, I
because
think
of
again,
yeah,
and I respect your criteria, right? I respect your criteria. Again, Shaq was a more efficient player than probably anybody on the top 10, right? If you want to look at shooting numbers and shooting percentage, and even with his bad free throw shooting, his true shooting percentage probably dwarfs even Wilt and all that, right? And then you go to again, that's see again when you got to put these things in context to understand that they played at a faster pace. Bill Russell is not trying to. Bill Russell was probably the lowest shooting, big man of all time, and the lowest shooting big man in my top 10, right? But then I gotta put that into context. Again, you're comparing a different. Kobe's winning time was in a more defensive league. LeBron gets these efficiency numbers in a league where the scoring is more wide open. It's easier to get to the basket.
but LeBron came into when it was at his height defensively in 03, and he was still more
Oh,
efficient
three,
than
you're
Kobe
right. But
every
guess what?
single
His
year.
efficiency numbers weren't exactly endorsing Kobe's either.
They
His
were way better than
efficiency numbers
Kobe's.
weren't endorsing Kobe. LeBron did not become an over 50% shooter until about years
Kobe
7 and
was
8.
never a 50% shooter.
I get that. And again, I'm excusing Kobe never be. First of all, I understand that. That's his shooting. That's his shooting variance. He was
Also, he was
about
better from three.
okay. Again, different era. Did Kobe play in a post Steph era in his prime?
So
Like when,
this is he came in when Kobe was in his prime and was better off the jump
you're
from
right,
than
but when it
Kobe.
was LeBron wasn't exactly Mr. 40%. Matter of fact, LeBron has one season of 40% shooting the three. So it ain't like
He has
LeBron
two.
is.
Oh,
Say
I'm sorry.
again.
He would have had two this year, but he has 37. He shot 40% in 2013, and
See again.
but
Kobe's
he's
already
been better
okay. Right,
at
Kobe
every
was still
across the
living in
board
his
than Kobe
prime.
Bryant ever was in his prime. They played against each other, dude. He was
I
better
get
than
it,
Kobe
I get
off the
it.
jump.
So well, wait a minute. The time where they played against each other, where you could say both guys were in their prime, Kobe was winning.
No, he wasn't.
Kobe won 2 championships. Before, okay, now you got 11 and 12, where it's a whole different story. And now a 12 and 13, right? So Kobe's not even in that playoffs. So I can only say really 12, where Kobe did. I mean, they did beat the team that beat Kobe. I think didn't
The swept Kobe.
OKC take out the Lakers.
Yeah, so Kobe got swept in 2011 as the champion, and then
Bad
obviously
ankle.
LeBron
Again,
choked.
I hate to use the injury excuse, but we all know Kobe had a bad ankle, 100%.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
And 2012 was the last time we seen Kobe in a playoff. So now,
Mm-hmm.
Kobe's last playoff game, LeBron still doesn't have a ring. See, when I go to this, right, you talk about Kobe's inefficiency, but he's already proven to me that 5 times that with him is either number 1 or number 2 or 1A or 1B, that he can win it all against the best competition, against Tim Duncan, against these. LeBron hasn't even scratched Tim Duncan yet. LeBron hasn't even proved to you, even with the All-Star squad he built up in Miami.
That's a terrible argument because again, Kobe doesn't do anything against Tim Duncan without an insane amount of help. You think that Kobe doesn't get swept by any version of Tim Duncan and Old Robins without Shaq?
Okay, right there, what you just said, without an insane amount of help. But
Yeah,
LeBron
and the
doesn't
best
even
coach
get
ever.
to the dance. Hold on, no, see, perfect. LeBron doesn't even get to the dance against Tim Duncan without an insane amount of help. And then when he gets them finally in 2013,
I mean, he did get to the dance with no help.
Hold on. Duncan is 38 years old, and he needed a miracle to beat him.
Duncan wasn't even Finals MVP in 07, dude. Like he was part of a great defensive team.
You're right. You're right. But wait a minute. Was Duncan an open? You're killing your own argument. Duncan was still an MVP level player, and all of those. Kobe and Duncan had 6 battles in the playoffs. 6. No, actually, it has 7. Kobe is 4 and 3. They would have had the 8th in 2013, but Kobe tore his Achilles trying to get to that AC.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so if you take Kobe out, right, even in his prime, and you put LeBron there, who's again a better scorer, better facilitator, better rebounder, better defender, and you put him up with Shaq, you don't see the exact same results?
No, you know why? Because Shaq playing LeBron playing a triangle offense. I don't think so.
He's a way smarter player than Kobe was. Of course he will.
You see, you're just saying he's a smarter player. I don't think so. No, I don't. Smarter.
This is you're forgetting. This is
okay.
All stuff that we have proof of, dude. Like I'm not. This is not just me.
Do you have proof? Number one, do you have proof that LeBron even likes Phil Jackson enough? Let me tell you something. Phil Jackson was a motherfucker. Phil Jackson was a mind game player. The locker room stuff alone, we all know that LeBron does not like Phil. When
Phil didn't like
said the
Kobe.
whole posse thing, you got to realize Kobe played for Phil for how many years? Right. They didn't exactly, they're not exactly bosom buddies, but God, I guarantee you the mutual respect between those two. And my man JB's in the building. I want the Laker fan. I need him to get in on this, bro. JB, you ready? Because I know you've heard a lot of crazy stuff.
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, Jay?
You know I'm hyped up.
Yes, sir.
10 toes down, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just want to say something real quick because I still haven't eaten dinner, so I'm way past time. But yeah, I see both of y'all's arguments. To me, just because I've watched both, it's hard for me to put Kobe above LeBron just because of those down years without Shaq. I think that hurts his case a lot. And I think the lack of finals MVPs, even though he was great, I think that hurts him for me, just in my top 10. That's what hurts Kobe for me.
And
but,
I can respect that. But again, in the down years is the reason why I got Bird over Kobe. See, this is what I'm saying. When we do this, because again, I want to premise this by saying, when I do my top 10, you talk again. By the time we get to Bird, and I think Bird was a 95 overall player. And how much is a 95 overall player different than a 99 overall player? It's not like I'm saying Bird was 95 and Kobe was down 90. Or
Bird's over Kobe, but not LeBron.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so for you, again, I use the down years as my tiebreaker between Bird and Kobe. But then now let's bring in LeBron down years. And then you think what y'all doing? Oh, in 2022. LeBron is now 37 years old, but he traded for Russell Westbrook, who's still young. He has AD, who's still young, and that team with 4 top 75 players, they went third. You want to talk about the down years with Kobe?
None prime.
There's no AD. There's no Westbrook. There's Chris Lim, Smush Parker, and then you're in a tougher West than it is now. You're in a West with Duncan, who's still an MVP level. So let's be fair. As I said, if Kobe didn't take, and Jermaine, I know you about to get on this, bro. If Kobe doesn't tear his Achilles, he now that would have been his 8th encounter with Duncan. That would have been his 8th encounter with Duncan and the Spurs. LeBron was still waiting on number 2, was still waiting on a rematch at the same given time. So I just want you to understand, when you talk about competition and efficiency and all of this, Kobe came out on top in 4 of the 7 encounters with Duncan.
Yeah, didn't Kobe miss out on what was that, 2012, was it? Or 2013?
In 2012 they missed each other because they lost to OKC. And again, if they beat OKC, then they would have had 8 right there. Just think about that. Even against Duncan and the Spurs. When we say Duncan, and you know this as the Spurs fan, CW, right? You saw Kobe a lot. So think about that. LeBron had 1. He hadn't had a win against Tim Duncan. Kobe had 4 series wins against Tim Duncan at the same time. So again, remember this, T-Perfect. I'm supporting my argument because throw out all your Socrates philosophy stats. If I needed a series, if I'm picking one player with my life on the line for a series, I'm picking Kobe because he got 4 series wins against Duncan at the same time. Where LeBron had his 1 shot and had 0 wins.
See, that's completely disingenuous though, because 4 of those, or 3 of those rather, came again with Shaq being the best player on the team.
2 came with Shaq. Spurs. 2 wins came against Shaq. T-Perfect. 2.
No, they beat him in 04 as well.
They beat him in 04. They beat him in 01. They didn't play in 02. They didn't play in 2000. Did they play in 2000?
They played in 2000 and 01, and they played in 04, yes. And then they played in 08.
Oh, no.
So they played in 08.
Or 2002, right? Sorry.
1999, 2001, 2002, 2004, 2008.
And remember, 99, they swept the Lakers, right? But Kobe was still young. Kobe when he was starting, right?
Yeah, because he wasn't good enough.
In 2013? No, 2012. Because the one with Dwight, because I remember.
See, that matters too. Kobe wasn't even a starter. Like he wasn't even the best team on his team or starting right off the jump. All the other greats were.
You see, again, and that's a little bit disingenuous too. Because
No,
remember,
see, CW, tell me, help me back on this. What other top 10 player do we give a pass to when who wasn't even the best player, arguably on their team for the first half of their career?
Did he sit behind a bum? I'm going to say this because again, here's context. The first high school player to come into the league was after Moses Malone was Garnett, right? Kobe's in the next high school class coming in '96. He's coming in with Jermaine O'Neal. Him and Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal didn't start right away either. So again,
Kobe couldn't even start over Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones was an all-star.
Eddie Jones was an all-star, sir.
Years that kind of hurt Kobe's case, I feel.
So, like, he was an all-star, and the Lakers had standards. The Lakers were a team expected to win something. LeBron came into a team with Ricky Davis. And again, so I'm going to give him a pass. Right? But he comes into a team that was shit. But once they signed Shaq, obviously the Lakers had expectations. So they slowly developed. To say he wasn't good enough is not fair. Jerry West knew he was good enough. He just knew that I'm not going to rush this kid.
I mean, they took their time with him.
They took their time with him. And again, so now you're in 03 where you got 6-7 guys. By the time LeBron comes in, you got 6 classes of high school players that come in. Mind you now you're about 03. You got Kendrick Perkins bum ass skipping college to come in. I'm just saying.
It's like I said in the debate here, CW, where by the time Kobe even sniffed the finals, right? Remember this, like when that 2000 Lakers team went to the finals, before they even went to the finals, they had with their coaching staff and the players that were on that roster all together, they had, I think it was like 17 rings and like almost like 25 finals appearances between them. That's not even counting Kobe's getting there himself. So, and like they had, that team was laden with veterans. They had Glenn Rice, who was still the best like third option in the league. Phil Jackson, Texas winner, taking over. Prime Shaq having a top 5 season of all time. And
and again, look.
So you talk about context. Right, LeBron had nothing, and was better.
You're right. And I actually tried it. So now I'm trying to be objective and give LeBron a pass. You're coming into a team that's bad. That's why they got the first pick, right? Kobe wasn't the first pick. Kobe was look, Jerry West knew that this guy was going to be one of the GOATs. So he told Shaq, I got a kid that's going to win you with 3 championships.
Yeah, forget LeBron. He's not better than Duncan. He's not better than Hakeem. He's not better than Kareem or Mike. He's not top 5, dude. LeBron is arguably number 1.
So I don't have
you can't put him over him.
And again, look, JB, come in. I know. Look, we've been going back and forth, but JB's got to have his say. This is the Laker fan.
Let me ask real quick. Where you have Kobe?
Me?
I was asking King's Speech.
Oh, I got him 7.
7.
Right?
Okay.
And see, so they kill me for having LeBron 8 and him 7. Again, I'm trying to tell you, it's a razor thin margin. And when I'm going to judge off my criteria, my total criteria, again, if I'm going to say, okay, here's LeBron's strength, here's Kobe's strength, here's LeBron's weakness, here's Kobe's weakness. Well, now my criteria is who the hell am I going to pick? If all things given equal, right? No, the supporting cast are exactly equal. Which star do I want to lead me to win this goddamn series where my life is on the line? And I'm gonna take Kobe because I know Kobe's gonna come up again. So now if we go into, so I've already been fair enough to know that Kobe. That's the reason Kobe didn't start, not because he wasn't good enough. Because Kobe, the same Kobe Bryant who I read about killing Jerry Stackhouse in a 1-on-1, it wasn't talent. Kobe had to grow. Kobe had to get the technique in. This is a grown man era. By the time LeBron comes in, you come into a lot of unskilled high school players, a lot of guys. So now those veterans like Kareem and Hakeem and Zoe and all these guys, they're not in the league no more. They're either old or aging or whatever. Jason Kidd isn't getting older at that point. Now LeBron comes into a league, a team that's not expected to win right away. So of course they're going to start him day 1. You understand what I'm saying? So to say that Kobe wasn't good enough, no, that's not a little bit fair because Kobe would have started for Charlotte and they wouldn't have been successful. So you know what I'm saying? That's just all I'm saying.
In North Carolina, we would have loved to have Kobe.
Yeah, but Kobe was obviously Kobe had the privilege of saying, well, Charlotte, I ain't trying to play for Charlotte, so y'all better figure something out. And Jerry West did that. Jerry West got Shaq, and then Jerry West got Kobe. And again, he knew that Kobe wasn't going to be the guy right away, but he knew in about 2-3 years with development, because that's what they believe in player development.
So we're just to sum up here, Keemsby, you're saying that you'll put Kobe, at least in its razor thin, right? So you're saying you put him over LeBron because he beat Duncan 4 times?
Yeah, but he beat Duncan 4 times by the time LeBron had. And mind you, LeBron's
That's
in
your
the
whole
league
argument.
9 years now. Hold on. LeBron's in the league 9 years. So why didn't LeBron be good enough to lead teams to the finals every single year?
He did lead a team to the final with far less help.
One time, and what did he do?
And he was making deeper playoff runs with that same no talent.
Travis. He shit his Pampers against that team, mind you. That wasn't even the best. I'm gonna keep it. You started Fabrizio Alberto at center. That wasn't the best of the 5 championship Spurs team. He did his diapers against them, bro. 35% is putrid. Now, based on your own, because you already use efficiency.
You won the great Spurs
mind
team.
You, we're talking about. Again, here's my premise that I'm supporting now. My life is on the line. I need to win all series. I need to win a championship, or I'm dead.
You wouldn't take him over LeBron. LeBron's better in every situation.
Wait a minute. Every situation except for when you're facing a team with Fabrizio Alberto at center and you go 35% in the field?
You mean you're for LeBron with 0 other offensive options versus Kobe Bryant doing the same thing in his prime with Shaq?
See, bro, you're making excuses.
No, it's not an excuse. It's just you're saying that defines LeBron.
Because I got further evidence, though, T-Perfect.
No, you don't.
Travis, yes, I do. I got 08 against. I got 08
against. You're cherry picking. You're saying I'll take this guy over, but the numbers say that he was far better than Kobe in those same situations on the whole. And Kobe also shot in his prime.
There's no way.
You want the numbers? I have them right here, dude. Bro, I have them right here. So check this out, CW. So in their playoff career, right? Let's take the final minute in order to take the lead, right? LeBron is 23 of 50, 46%. Kobe is 12 of 44, 27%. Last 30 seconds, same situation. Okay, Kobe is 8 of 31, 26%. LeBron is 14 of 35. That's just the final minute. And see, he's way more clutch, and he's
throw that out away. I can throw all
5
that
minutes.
out
It gets
by
worse.
the fact that he has no wings. I can throw. He doesn't win these series.
Yeah, he does.
He's coming up with help excuses.
He has 4 rings as the best player. Kobe has 1 as the best player.
Now you're coming back. Now you're coming in. Now you're coming into a different. You're coming in now to an era where Kobe's not even in the league anymore, right? And now you're coming into an era where the 3-point shot is more accepted, more used by coaches. So therefore, right, LeBron has more freedom to shoot it. LeBron is not in a structured type of offense, like a triangle offense. See, this is the thing. All things given equal. So you're going again. LeBron's rings comes after Kobe's prime. Kobe's rings, to at least 2 of them, came in LeBron's prime. And now, okay, the 3 that he won before LeBron got to we can't throw that out. When again, I got evidence 07 and 08 against the best defensive teams in the league that LeBron and all that efficiency shit gets thrown out the window because he shit his pants. Look at the numbers. And LeBron, wait a minute. By the same token, Kobe played against the big four Celtics in the finals twice. He lost to them once, beat them once. He didn't play as bad as LeBron personally against the same team in the same year. I'm just saying that.
Again, your whole argument, dude, is hinging on how Kobe did against basically one team in his career. That's a disingenuous, terrible argument.
It's the best team. And remember, if it's the best team in the league at the time, and I'm using if my life is I don't see what it is you want me to say, okay, LeBron was better against the New Jersey Nets in the second round.
What about when LeBron faced the number 1 offense and defense at the same time in 2016 with the Golden State Warriors? And 17 and 18, and had basically the best finals performances of all time, dude. What you're saying, LeBron also faced more top 5 defenses of all time.
You're now coming with you're coming at 2016, and unfortunately, right? My 08 point
suspension.
You got 2 guys, and we can say that they're in the same league with the same rules, right? The same interpretations of the rules, the same refs.
Also, aside from 07, Kobe Bryant or LeBron James put up better numbers against those same teams than Kobe did.
Wait a minute, in the playoffs?
Yeah, in the playoffs. Okay. Go check it out.
Okay.
Go check out 09, for instance. against the
In
Magic.
07, he didn't play the Spurs, though, sir. So the only team that he would have played...
Right, Kobe was too busy not making the playoffs.
Oh, no, he actually
choking a
did make the
3-1 lead
playoffs in
rather,
07.
sorry.
He made the playoffs in 07 and lost to Phoenix.
Yeah, when he blew a 3-1
But again,
lead.
so now, again, I'm telling you, Travis, you got 08 and 2010. You got 08 and 2010, where in the same year, in the same league, LeBron played against the Celtics in the second round both years.
Yeah, and his numbers were better than Kobe's.
Really?
Yeah,
You
with
didn't
less
tell
help.
me. Wait a minute. You didn't tell me in the 08. I gotta look this because I don't know the numbers. I got the numbers in front of me. The 08 finals, Kobe shot worse than 35% that LeBron shot.
No, I'm talking about 2010.
Well, in 2010, he had worse numbers. Here's the problem. We all know that LeBron, and again, we could say that LeBron quit on the team, the Delonte West situation. LeBron James was awful in that last game. So was Kobe, right? But Kobe actually came through in the end, and Kobe didn't quit. LeBron was perceived as quit. I'm sorry.
Why would you quit when you have like your entire team like out shooting you from the field and hitting all the big shots? Kobe was getting like 15 rebounds and like getting an undeserved Finals MVP.
Yeah, Kobe shot 41% from the field. So the idea he did have a struggle. That's a 6 for 24 brought it down. So before that he was 44%, and that's what they got. They were 3-3 against the same team, not 2-4.
Kobe's the only top 10 player in history who can score 15 points a game in the finals and still win a chip.
Who scored? Okay, so you're going back to 2000 now, right?
This is just context, right, man?
Context. Okay, you're going back to 2000. We all know Kobe had the sprained ankle again.
I mean, if you're talking negatives, which I still don't need to do to rank players, I mean, you can say...
Guess what? You're right. But we're still talking about a win. See, I would love to see LeBron take it easy with all that help he got and still win a series. Like he should have done. He should have just let Luka, and what was the problem with this year is the roster was so depleted, right? The roster was smoke and mirrors, but LeBron should have took a back seat, played more defense.
Also, we're not even talking about the fact that...
We all know the numbers are the narrative that bails LeBron out every time.
There we go. Yeah, it's a narrative, right? As long as like it doesn't support your arguments and narratives. We're not even talking about the fact that...
Again, LeBron played horrible down the stretch of those games.
We're not even talking about the fact that Kobe
while getting defensive numbers from steals and blocks, his defense was not bad.
We're not even talking about the fact that LeBron or that Kobe Bryant basically had 11 prime years, right? From let's say 01 to 2013, and like we conveniently discount his injuries, and like LeBron's going basically doubling that right now, but that's discounted, right? Because it's quote unquote longevity. There's no way Kobe could have been a top 10 player in the league consistently through year 14, right? Much less year 22, which LeBron is now.
He could have without the injuries. We all know that.
No, he couldn't have. He was already losing his stuff. Yeah.
Oh, he scores. I mean, he was losing. Everybody loses stuff. And see, I perfect. Let me tell you something, bro. And I got to take gloves off here. LeBron has lost a step a long time ago. LeBron lost a step the moment he messed his groin up against Golden State on his first year with the Lakers. Here's the problem. LeBron has been masking that by completely resting on it. We got so much video evidence watching LeBron literally stand there. We got next gen stats to show that in the year 2019, LeBron James was the third slowest mover. So they measure the miles per hour on defense. That means LeBron does a lot of standing around on defense where he's resting legs. And again, bro, the greats have done this. The greats have kind of, as we get
you realize that the Lakers were better on defense for like half the season or half the years Kobe played, right? Like whenever he wasn't playing, they were giving up fewer points.
That is such, you know what? I mean, really, you really believe that the Lakers became a better defense with Kobe? First of all, Kobe's playing 44 minutes.
That's not me believing it. That's facts.
No. But Travis, you look at Kobe's minutes played. You're talking about 6-7 off court minutes. Kobe's playing 41, 42,
no, we're talking about those minutes. We're talking
game.
about games missed. We're talking about every substantial time where he wasn't there. Most of the time, that's because they played better team defense. Kobe was overrated defensively.
You know what? You're telling me. Here's the thing, right? Okay, so Kobe might have missed 10 games this season, 5 games. Kobe was never. I don't think Kobe was sitting out against the elite teams. As a matter of fact, Kobe would tell you, "I'm never sitting out against the elite teams." So they might have played a shitty ass fucking team and had a nice defensive rating with Kobe out. Convenience. Come on, bro. There's no way you can sit there and tell me that 11-time All NBA defender, the team was better off without him defensively. See, these are we know what these are. These are these convenient arguments, right?
Convenient. These aren't convenient arguments. These are stats that have been proven, dude. It's not me just saying this.
So
these are
let me
things
ask you
that
this.
you just don't want to talk about.
Because I'm gonna do this. When you got on offset, did the Lakers ever go on a 30 game and talk about a contending Laker team? Did they ever miss Kobe for 30 days and then all of a sudden in that 30 games, I mean, you got small
how about
sample
an 01
sizes
where
to
Kobe
do
missed
this.
like 20 games and they actually came up in the standings because he wasn't there shooting them out of games.
Shooting them out of see again. This is what I'm saying.
Gentlemen, may I
go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay. Because you the Kobe, bro.
Yeah,
you the Kobe guy.
Sorry, I wasn't able to join when when you first started because I was working.
I got no excuse.
But I'm not gonna really get involved in rankings. I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that because there's fans of this guy that just participate in this discussion, and basically all I want at this point, I want my team back. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the constant hype. I'm tired of the trade talks. I'm tired of them being forced to flip over their own drafted players. They help this dude out to bring in superstars every freaking year. And all this talk about, who's better, between these two guys, I'm not going to get into that tonight. But all I want as of right now, I want my team back. Ever since this dude was brought to this franchise, it's been nothing but utter and sheer chaos, mayhem, blame deflecting, scapegoating, and more. And when you get right down to it, losing. Look, I got to sit here, and every year they make these roster moves with him in mind because he's supposed to be the savior of the franchise.
Yep.
Now all this talk about who closed out the fourth quarter. Since he's been in that uniform, this dude is 2 for 30, and game in shot attempts to at the end of the game to try to win it. He's 2 for 30.
Yeah, clutch game winning shot.
And the one he made against Indiana, that was a putback because they didn't box out. And the one shot he did make was in his first year on the team. They predicted that he was going to lead them to the Western Conference Finals. His first year. But when you know your team,
go ahead.
When you know your team, you know your team. That first year was not about winning. That first year was about causing disruption and disillusionment and getting the organization and the fans to agree to that young core being traded, cashed out, cut, waived. So this dude can come in, operate with impunity, flip everything around. He didn't come here and improve who was there. He came here to take control of the franchise so they can operate at his every whim. And as a result of that, as of right now, they're nowhere closer than what they really were when this all started. And the 1 year that they got, it stands on the backs of every single young draftee who was brought in by this franchise. And you got 4 of them right now in the conference finals. 4 of them.
Yes, sir.
So when they told me, excuse me, Jim, when they told me that they had no value, when they told me they couldn't contribute to winning, I never, ever agreed to that notion because it was all based on manipulation and falsehoods. They was 19 years old coming in, just like, okay, let's talk about LBJ, who should be in Cleveland right now. He never should have left that team. He came in as an 18-year-old. He didn't make the playoffs to his 3rd year. Nobody was sitting here casting aspersions against LeBron because they understood he was being brought in by a team who was bad. It was going to take a while before they start reaching the playoffs with him as the team's best player. So if that's the case, why penalize my players who was coming in the situation where the franchise was starting all over again? So either one or two things happen. Either they never intended to really build a foundation with those young men, or they was planning on doing that, but when they brought this dude to the franchise, he already had an ulterior motive to get rid of all of them. As him and his crew said, his representative of the crew, He chose the Lakers because we had the deepest array of young talent in the league. We had the more cap space, and we had the draft picks. They've exhausted all of that in record time, and they sitting here confused. Most of these fans are confused with what's going on, and what they don't understand is when they got that bubble chip, that was a byproduct of mortgaging off a decade. And to show you that that's the case, this is why they have to try to bring in superstars every 2 years. Why this dude is on the team. And the longer he's on the team, they're going to be forced to. Now they talking about trading Austin Reeves, who's actually played above his value as an undrafted prospect coming into the NBA. Then they traded the steal of the draft, quote unquote, the nation's best shooter coming out of college. You've already darn near destroyed his value 6 months into his rookie year because you traded him for a center, which you never would have had to do if they would have kept Zubac and kept developing him. But he was sacrificed in his third year with LeBron's first year on the team because they wanted to create cap space to try to accelerate the process of bringing Anthony Davis to the team, and then offseason bringing in that third superstar. Fundamentally, none of this stuff has worked. All they got out of it was a bubble chip, and they behind the Western Conference. It don't matter what moves they make this offseason. They behind OKC, they behind Minnesota, they behind Houston, and there's always something. Dallas, now Dallas got the jump. So every time that they try to operate with nefarious means to try to get us to the advantage, someone real comes up, breaks through like Denver did 2 years ago, and the gig has been up since 2020. And when the Laker organization understand that, move on from this dude, it's going to continue to be the same nonsense. And this is why I've been preaching to the choir. This is why I've been upholding that young core since day one, because they was the deepest, best young core in the league. And they was sacrificed for this dude to come in and pillar the franchise off to bring in one superstar, one veteran-laden player who trying to come in as a mercenary. They try to win right now. That formula doesn't work in principle, and especially in this Western Conference. It's all over. All I want is my team back. And I'll let everybody else continue. And then I'll follow up in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna just listen.
Right. So now, T Perfect, thank you for being here. Being patient. Look, this is a Laker fan perspective, and I know it doesn't add to that much to our, back and forth. But a lot of Laker fans feel that way. And again, I know the counter would be, well, look, you got the guy at 33. He's now 40. What do you expect? Well, guess what? I'm going to say this. You're paying him just like they were paying Kobe. And again, we understood that Kobe got his money, as a legacy thing. We understand that, they knew that they were not going to be very good those years, that Kobe couldn't, they wound up trading Gasol. That the band was broken up again. You're talking about a team that won, they got 3 straight finals, won 3 championships or 2 championships, right? And they won the 3. So Kobe was a legacy D, right? But LeBron has been relatively healthy. I know he had certain health issues and all of this, but this is a Laker fan perspective, and that's
real quick about Kobe. If I just say about Kobe, the reason why I'm gonna roll with Kobe at the end of the day is because of what he said after he played his final game. He said, more than the championship years, I'm more proud of the down years because we didn't run.
Thank you.
So we started winning again. We did it the right way.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. And that does not add to our little discussion, but that's one of the issues, right? Kobe stuck in build. That's one I'm going to bring up. Kobe stuck in build. He stuck in rebuild. LeBron, when the chips get down, when it looks like that team is falling off, well, again, you missed the 8 straight finals. Well, you just went to a fresher scenario. You went to a team that won 3 straight lotteries, right? And then basically, but Andrew Wiggins, and again, we all see what Andrew Wiggins is now. They said Andrew Wiggins was the next LeBron. So, again, whatever the scouts are looking at, LeBron realized, well, I'm coming here, and we got Kyrie already. We don't need this Wiggins kid. I can go and trade for anybody in the league. And then Kevin Love, who was the Joker, before Joker, without the assists. You traded for that guy. Then you made him change positions. Now, I think Joker wasn't exactly, I knew that Love wasn't exactly the 26 or 14 guy he got, but he was the perfect guy to stick in between you and Kobe. So again, your 8 straight finals, I mean, it's not like he stuck it out in Miami, and as that Miami team was going about playing. Like, I mean, remember Miami got Hassan Whiteside and these guys like that. Whatever. The fact of the matter is, again, when you talk about the 8 straight fight, again, you're talking about stuff that after Kobe went down, and I know you made the point, 20 years of prime versus 13 years of prime. Again, but in those 13 years of prime, he won 5 championships. More than LeBron did with arguably, not even arguably, inarguably more help. Because if you want to use the help discussion, well, again, LeBron had more help in these prime years, these 20 years of prime, than a Shaq. Remember, Kobe and Shaq played together for 8 years. Kobe was young for the 3 years. Shaq was in his prime for 5 years. So getting 3 championships in those 5 years of their co-primes, well, LeBron had 20, again, from Miami to now. He's had elite help with him, Travis. Elite, 15 years. Well, you only got 4 rings. You only got 4 rings. Well, Kobe in his prime of 13 years got more rings. And if, again, I'm only supporting the argument where I think these guys are obviously different players, but equally effective players. And the razor thin margin tiebreak I'm going to say is that I think this guy is a more worried. And again, you can tell me what your stats say. I'm going to tell you what the winning says. And he did it against arguably better competition. I mean, you can have the floor. And I know, look, bro, I appreciate it. We kind of expanded on our little 20-minute debate here. And you know what I'm saying? But you can have the floor. And again, bro, you're a good opponent. You're very prepared.
Can we mute JB for a minute just because he has the background noise?
Oh, yeah. JB, can you mute? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so, I mean, listen, and JB is preaching to the choir because I'm not a LeBron fan, right? Like, I don't like his style of play. I don't like what he does to teams. I'm 100% like you said, my favorite players are actually James Worthy and Kobe. But when we're talking about, like I said, like especially because the ring argument to me holds 0 weight unless you were the lead dog on those teams, and that's why I don't think that Bill. I mean, the reason I don't think Bill Russell's the GOAT is because all the awards that I used to rank players and accolades and numbers weren't available for Bill, so it wasn't fair. And so, but if they were, he'd be the GOAT, followed by Will. But I mean, that's why I think that Michael Jordan is right up there too, because he was the lead dog. He has a noticeable impact on winning. Basically, you can measure that. Basically, all these things that he checks the boxes for. But LeBron, again, I mean, we're talking about what matters here, right? And obviously, it's subjective, but what isn't subjective is he blows Kobe away and everything that we mentioned. You talk about winning. Like I said, he not only has he been to way more finals than Kobe, but like I said, you talk about who had the most help in finals history. Again, against with the help. I mean, you can't just say, yeah, he had Shaq. That's a big deal when you're ranking players. What other player has won 3 titles alongside a prime top 5 player? Only Kobe Bryant. Nobody else.
So quick question though, Travis. What do you think? What do you think Kyrie was in those years and Love was? Or not? Because remember, Love at one point by ESPN. Again, I know that's just some, but he was ranked top 6, top 10. So Shaq versus young Kyrie, young clutch Kyrie, and Love. What do you like? What do you like? Which one kind of balanced it out?
Well, here's the thing. It wasn't just Shaq too. Like you had like guys like Rick Fox, Ori, Glenn Rice. You had
and again, then you got guys like J.R. Smith, knucklehead as he is. Look, bro, J.R. Smith shot 58% of the finals that LeBron lost. No, I'm sorry. He shot 58% of the finals that they won. No, they lost in 17.
And also, nobody's saying LeBron didn't have help, but like there was no argument for any of those years that he was not the best player on that team in the regular season and playoffs. You can't make that argument.
And again, I get that part as well. But see,
that matters.
Again, it matters. But okay, what if I said that LeBron was the second best player in the league? Matter of fact, I actually do believe LeBron was the second best player in the league in 2017. I believe Kevin Durant was the best player in the league in 2017.
In the league, that's fine. I don't care about that. I'm talking about his team.
But by the same token, now I'm going to tell you that Kobe was the second best player in the league in those first 3 years, and you can argue he ain't no worse than 3.
First years during the championships.
Well, during let's say 01 and 02, 01 and 02.
No way was he the best. No way.
So what? Okay, so you got Duncan, and who else you got?
Let's see. Duncan, Shaq, Garnett was already better. AI was better. Tracy
Ooh,
McGrady
and I
was better.
bro, I wanted to say that. Okay, 01. You realize that Kobe played better in the finals than
You
AI.
gonna say he's over Allen Iverson?
In 01? Yeah.
You mean MVP Iverson?
Kobe
I don't care how he.
I think y'all don't understand how. And I hate
That was a
this
complete
guy.
mismatch of a finals, by the way, dude.
Say again?
That was a huge mismatch of a finals, by the way.
Okay. But
we knew the Lakers were going to slaughter anyone coming out.
At this point, is Kobe the better player than AI? Are you taking Kobe over AI? I think so. And as much as I wanted Garnett, Garnett, okay, you talk about that? Okay. Well, Garnett and T-Mac, neither one got into the first round at that point in their career. And I do understand it was circumstances around that, right? But neither one of them got out of the first round. See,
that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because Kobe has Shaq. It's always the Kobe has Shaq argument, because again, what I'm doing here is defeating your Kobe has Shaq argument with the fact that with the years that you're now using to place Shaq to place LeBron over Kobe, LeBron is now older in his prime, and now LeBron has Wade and Duncan. Let's keep something 100%. As much as they want to try to say that LeBron was not a big three, right? LeBron in Miami was not a big three.
False.
In 2010, when they all had their own teams, and I know PER is not the be-all end-all, but you know who was 1, 2, and 4 in PER in 2010?
Yeah, it was LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. So you got 3 of the top 4 players. So come on now. And then, hold on now. And then that team loses to an Asian Dirk with an old kid, Sean Marion.
Check this out,
now you got to hold that because you got to hold that because now LeBron has his help and he still does
not.
They
sweep Kobe that same year?
Check this out.
They swept Kobe, an Asian Kobe.
Kobe was trash that series.
Check this out. Now people say Kobe had Shaq. Well, that implies that they teamed up. Kobe was brought in as an 18-year-old. Shaq was brought in as a free agent. Yeah. It wasn't like they said, man, we in our prime.
We covered that. It almost was accidental. Because if anybody understands this, Shaq did not sign with the Lakers because of Kobe. He signed because Jerry West got him that money that Orlando wouldn't give him. And then it wasn't like Kobe was like, oh, I'm coming in with Shaq. No. Kobe was just get me to the league, and then Jerry West was the one that put those two together. So we understand that. Here's the problem.
Check this out, gentlemen. Check this out.
Go ahead.
Okay, Shaq, that's 28 points a game, right? That's 28 points a game. Okay. Yeah. When you join forces with 2 franchise players and Wade and Bosh, Wade is giving you 30. He led the NBA. He was the scoring champion in 2009. He dropped 30.
And Bosh was a walking 24 and
10. That's 54 points. So LeBron had more to work
already
with
made 3 All-Star teams, right? Already made 3 or 4 All-Star teams, right? So again, here's the thing though. So Kobe lost to the same team. Well, guess what now? Kobe is aged, been through a lot of battles, been through a lot of miles, because that's one of the excuses y'all will give LeBron for his failures.
I don't give any excuses to LeBron.
Okay. LeBron has been through a lot of miles. So you don't get now you're gonna do what I do, and now these first round flameouts, because again, JB came in with his perspective. You've been in the league, you've been in LA 7 years, and you've gotten us out of this first round twice. Laker fans have every right to sit there and say,
that's after blockbuster trades.
Yeah. After all these blockbuster trades, we got you Luka, we got you AD. We giving up our whole we giving up Josh Hart. We let Julius Randle walk out the door. We giving up Lonzo Ball, who we got the second pick with the second pick. We giving up D'Angelo Russell twice, the second pick. Understand it. You've gotten them out the first round twice. And now the narrative is, well, you've been through battles. You've been through battles, mileage. Well, see, when you're judging Kobe against 2011 Mavericks, well, Kobe been through battles. Kobe had less to prove in 2011. LeBron had the shit to prove, right?
He had less
the
to
same
prove.
Shit to prove that Kobe had in the early his career.
He didn't want to get ring number 6 and he was favored heavily.
Travis, but yeah, they were favored. But Travis, what I'm telling you is, you're judging 01 Kobe and 2000 Kobe against 2011 LeBron.
No, I'm not.
Now, they have comparable. They had Shaq
Look.
and Rick Fox and Glenn Rice, and mind you, they didn't have Glenn Rice after 2000. You only after 01, you got Rick Fox and Robert Horry comes into
01
the
Kobe
fold.
was better than 04 Kobe. 04 Kobe was undisciplined hack who cost them another ring.
But he had 3 rings already. See,
So what?
I get. Look, see, this is the problem though. You're now trying to pick out one and what I'm telling you is,
Dude, your entire argument is that Kobe's better than LeBron because he beat a certain player a couple of times. That's your entire
a
argument.
certain player. Okay, that player and his. See, let me tell you something, Travis. And this is why the next debate I do with one of you guys, I want to debate teams. Because now, instead of player for player, because there's a lot
You'd have a better chance that way.
Yeah, of course I would. But then I think you guys can't. I think you guys don't look at team dynamics in the right way.
Oh, absolutely. I'll smoke you on any debate you want to do, dude. Anytime.
Bro, so now what I challenge, because it looked like King John wasn't receptive. King John wasn't receptive. I'm gonna challenge you to this, because we can wrap this Kobe LeBron debate up, because we could go back and forth all night. And I know, well, you said you in Hawaii, it's still 6:00, right?
Yeah, it is.
but bro, the thing is, you pick a team that didn't win a championship. I pick a team that didn't win a championship, and we debate on who's better. Is that fair?
It's easy. Yep.
Okay, great. So again, we picking the teams. I mean, like you can just pick a team, and I'll try to think. I mean, matter of fact, we don't got.
How far do they have to get? Finals or?
We're just gonna make the argument. You see how we kind of went through the playoff matchups coming up. So we're gonna just pick 2 specific, like the 02 Kings, right? I'm thinking of 02 Kings because I think they're one of the best teams I've seen that should have won a championship, didn't,
okay.
Right? And you can pick again. They got to be conference finals or finals runner-up. So they got to at least made it to the Final Four. And you pick one team, and I pick the other team.
Excuse me.
And we kind of do our like a playoff preview. Like these 2 teams are now going to play each other, and we got to convince the judges that our team is going to win.
Light work. When do you want to do
it? Say again.
When do you want to do it?
We could do it on the next episode. We could do it on Thursday. I don't know. Thursday not work for good for you because then we would have to come on late, right? Because you work. You do it 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably.
We can do it on GJK. We can do it on Go Jays Kingdom. We can do it both. I'm up for it.
We can do it after GJK next Sunday.
Okay, cool. So you want Sunday afternoon?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we can set it up the way y'all do it. And again, I'm convincing the judges that my team is going to win this based on we're going to break it down just like we would do any other conference finals, like any other match, playoff series preview. So it's a best of 7 series, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to say my guy and what I think. Let's just say if I pick the fucking shit. Damn, let me think. I'm not. Again, we don't have to pick our play teams now. We can just take teams like, damn, this team should have won it all.
I already have 3 that I'm thinking about.
Cool. That's what I'm saying. And see, to me, that's a little bit more complex and a little bit more easy because again, we keep going back and forth. Like as I sit there and say, you're killing Kobe for having help. See, I'm trying to say LeBron now has the comparable help that Kobe had in the 3-peat. But he failed spectacularly.
Let me ask real quick. Where y'all want to do that? Where you gonna do this at?
We could do it.
Gonna do it on Go James.
Well, he said they want to do it. They could do it in on Sunday. But I want to do the same way we could do it both here and there.
We can do it here. I mean, because I don't have the say so over who gets to do what over there. Like,
yeah.
We can do it here.
And again, I made the suggestion, and I think
we get like 3 judges from Casual's crew or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
And then both of us are relatively unknown to Casual's crew, right? Do they know T Perfect?
I mean, I think maybe once or twice, but not really.
Yeah, so we're not, because like I said, I think again, I'm not copping out, but bro, when I saw that I got intimidated when I saw your broadcast partners for the judges. So, but again, look, bro, I'm not taking your victory away. You killed me because I was admittedly unprepared. Now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it real. You gave me the link at 9:57, 8:57, and y'all went on air at 9. And then I was sitting there waiting for y'all to acknowledge me and put me on stage. And y'all didn't. It was like 15 minutes, and then by the time y'all did come on, I was like, "Yo, bro, I gotta put my son to bed." Like, you know what I'm saying? And so then I'm coming in, but again, you won. I wasn't as prepared, and again, like we can do it this format better. A little bit more impartial judges, and I think this because, bro, I say this all the time. Player debates to me, it can just get. Yeah, I'm talking about a guy who I think is 95 overall versus another guy I think is 95 overall. And the only thing that I'm gonna say is like, yeah, you can take LeBron, but if I had Kobe on 2K, and I know Kobe's strength, and you had Kobe on, and you had LeBron on 2K, I think I'm gonna bust your ass because these are Kobe intangibles is gonna help me win. And you can have all the efficiency you want, but I think Kobe is gonna feed a guy like, let's just say, if his power forward is goddamn Chris Bosh, if Kobe played with a Chris Bosh, I think Kobe gets more out of Chris Bosh than LeBron got out of Chris Bosh.
Kobe played with someone better than Chris Bosh.
Really? You talking about Gasol? Or are you talking about Shaq? Okay, great. But Kobe played with Gasol and got more out of. Kobe got 2 rings out of Gasol against better competition in the West. And equally as good finals competition because you can't. He played against. You're gonna tell you're gonna tell me that the 09 Magic wasn't good. Then why did the 09 Magic beat LeBron in 6 games?
It wasn't because of LeBron. LeBron put up way better numbers against them than Kobe did.
Put up better numbers, but see, a lot of people don't. And again, shout out to
also,
the guy.
He didn't have Derek Fisher hitting like the most clutch shots imaginable.
But don't you think Kobe set up a Derek Fisher a little bit better? Mind the game tells you LeBron himself told you, well, I think our role players weren't good enough in 2011. And Eddie House had to say, bro, Eddie House, Derek Fisher. I know Derek Fisher got the hardware, but Eddie House was no bum. And Eddie House, comparable as a player. So Eddie House is going to tell you, wait a minute, bro. I was a role player on that team. Udie Haslam, he was a role player on that team.
I'm taking Fisher over Eddie House every fucking day. Like he's
every day because Eddie House was on a lot of good teams. He was on the Celtics. He was on the Heat.
Yeah. He
got more hardware. Maybe Fisher has because Fisher don't have 1 ring without Kobe.
And vice versa.
Maybe Fisher got more hardware because he played with the better player. See what I'm saying? Where's the Udie
Kobe doesn't have a ring without Fisher either.
Teams?
Fisher was there for all 5.
But see, again,
so was Phil Jackson.
4 or 5, right? But you think Fisher is winning with Harry Kittles?
No one said that.
Okay, then. But see, then Eddie House lost.
So here's the thing: like when we're talking about that, like we like it's tough to say. We can't say okay.
I know.
Will they win without these players?
We start peeling too many layers of the onion.
We are because like what you said, Shaq doesn't sit. Of course, no one's saying Kobe was a bum, but like when you try to inflate him, like his positioning, that's the only thing, which is weird. No one's saying he wasn't a key cog of these players. Like I've been the first to admit Kobe faced tougher competition, generally speaking, in the playoffs. But like I said, there's no to elevate Kobe over LeBron is you have to ignore.
When you guys remember this, you guys' argument is that Scottie Pippen, like you take Scottie Pippen out of the equation, there's no 6 rings. I admit that every Jordan fan, any sane Jordan fan can admit that. So it's like, so when we start evaluating Scottie Pippen, to know that he was just as vital to the 6 as Kobe was to the 3. And mind you, are we going to then say, that means Kobe was a Scottie Pippen?
even if Kobe checked the box of like tougher competition, he doesn't win in Finals MVPs. He doesn't win MVPs. He doesn't win in All NBA selection. He doesn't win in stats. He doesn't win in everything.
A lot of that is there's a guy who is not
those
in Steph
matter.
Curry's league. Hold on, but there are guys who are not in Steph Curry's league who have 2 Finals MVPs.
Listen, would Kareem be top 3 if he didn't have 6 Finals MVPs?
Okay, here's a good one.
Or 6 MVPs, really?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Because he got 6 league MVPs. Because he got.
If he didn't have that, would he be top 3?
Would he be top 3? Yeah.
Why?
Because he got 6 league MVPs.
I said he did not have that, would he be a top 3 player of all time?
So now we're taking away what again, he was an all-time leading scorer. how many scoring titles, how many years was he the best player? Like again, how many years
Exactly.
he was? Mind you, he was the best player in the league when his team didn't make the playoffs. He was that damn good. He was unstoppable. And again, that's what I'm saying. There's layers to my criteria where I have to keep going down. And I'm telling you, bro, I can't sit there. Honestly, I need to write it. I'm too fucking lazy. I have a 1-year-old I'm chasing
You got
around.
too many layers, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
do.
mean, we gotta write those down. So
I gotta hear that,
bro, I
man.
gotta write them down, but I chase around my 1-year-old.
I'll make you a deal, King Speech. If you can use this bogus competition and failure aspect across 10 players, I will surrender and say Kobe's the
Yes,
GOAT.
because again, bro, I'm only look. I'm not tooting my own horn here, but bro, when I became, I think I've been an amateur basketball story, and this is what I was trying to get at last night when we were talking about it. Right, when guys say they don't put Russell, well, again when I don't put Russell and Chamberlain, and I say that's fair, but then you can't say you have a GOAT list, right? Now, if it was at the point where you're not going to do the research, then none of us have a GOAT list. And all of us have a greatest I've ever seen list. And that's two different things, right? Because then you're going to, again, what were we saying? These 07 babies don't even know what protect your neck means, right? They don't know what Wu-Tang said. Bro, you're going to talk to a kid that was born in 07. He's now 18 years old, ready to go to college. You're going to talk to him about basketball. Do you understand that he probably would not have seen Kobe in his prime?
Oh, for sure. But I have a GOAT list because I have done the research.
But what I'm saying is, and then he's going to give you a GOAT list, and Kobe is not there, not even considered. But this is my point, right? But he's 18 years old. He's not a, it ain't like he can go vote. He can go, like he can drive, right? You're going to drive. We're going to take a road trip with an 18-year-old. You're going to talk basketball.
I'll bump Kobe up to number 9. Larry's number 10.
Saying, bro. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'll bump him. And then I have Curry at 8.
See, that 18-year-old is going to give you his GOAT list, but you know for sure it's not a GOAT list. It's just going to be the greatest I've ever seen because he ain't even old enough to have seen. He was 6 when Kobe tore that Achilles.
Not a real GOAT list.
Think about that.
My favorite player list.
18-year-old. But bro, an 18-year-old was when Kobe tore his Achilles was 6.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm saying. So if you're not going to do the research, and again, Google is free. When Clayton Crawley, who we talked about earlier, did that great series, right? He was born in 1998. He was born the month before Jordan won his last ring.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he did Do you think he did a good job on Jordans?
Absolutely.
So that goes. He was 1 month old when Jordan shot his last shot for the Bulls. You know how he did that great job on Jordan? He did the research.
Mm-hmm.
This is my point. So my point is, if you're going to sit there and say, well, you don't have a GOAT list because you just have the greatest I've ever seen list. And those are two different things. But again, we live in an information age. Google is free. So even that same 18-year-old kid can get on Google and see, Google, how good was Bill Russell? Now you're not going to see much film, but you're going to look at articles, accounts. That's what I'm saying.
I don't rank Russell though, because
I don't rank him because
there's only two guys in the basketball world who can give you a GOAT. I'm sorry, CW.
No, I'm just gonna say something real quick. I'm gonna ask my 15-year-old. I think he's still up. Who he thinks is better, Kobe or LeBron? I'll be right back.
Bro, I got a 1-year-old. And he's gonna love that. Trust me, he's already, bro. My 1-year-old bro. I can't. Nobody, but like we go in a jungle gym where it's all 3, 4-year-old kids. My 1-year-old is just all over that shit, and everybody can't believe it. Like there's no other people that young, but he's gonna love basketball. And one day I'm gonna have a basketball discussion with him. And guess what? It's gonna be an interesting one. But I'm gonna try.
He says, "Dad, you're tripping. LeBron is way over Kobe."
Of course, bro. We all gonna go through this. But here's my point. There's only 2 people alive with their facilities in the basketball world who then can make a proper GOAT list. And that's Bob Cousy and Hubie Brown, and they're both in their 90s.
All right.
You feel what I'm saying?
He said Kobe. I mean, he said LeBron. So.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's logical.
Again, there's no wrong. I'm gonna say this again. There's no wrong answer in this GOAT discussion. Only thing we can do is debate each other's opinion and criteria. There's no wrong answer. Here's a wrong answer. Popeye Jones is better than Kobe. That's the wrong answer.
Well,
So
let's
wait,
not do
Kobe
it
that.
should
comes
actually
to
be your GOAT, dude. If that's kind of like what we're using, right?
yeah, if you're a Dennis Rodman type of guy, and I only respect rebounders.
You should be like at least at worst like 3, right? Because you don't care about MVPs, LNBAs,
Man, I'm
stats.
just bro. Again, so we do this. And I've said every time I come up on your panel, man. Every time I come up with a Johnny, I say this. I preface this. They go, but see, that's what I'm saying. When we do the player goat for goat list, it kind of gets boring because again, we're gonna keep going back and forth. We could go all day about your guy against my guy. I want to do a team. Give me 2 teams. Give me 2 random teams. Give me 2 championship teams. We could do
All right.
championship teams.
Yeah, I
We
like
could do. What do you
the
think
team thing.
Jokic Nuggets would do against Akeem's Rockets, right?
They get swept.
Yeah.
You think the Akeem's Rockets will get swept?
No. They sweep the Jokic Nuggets.
Oh, see, I
Hakeem would
actually think it'll be a
obliterate.
7-game series, and I think it'll be a style. But see, that's what I'm saying. You know what I
Hakeem
mean?
would obliterate Jokic.
You're right, but then
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, what happens if KCP plays lockdown defense and gets all in Clyde Drexler's Kool-Aid?
I mean, you still have Ori, you still have Kenny the Jet. I mean, you still have a bunch of guys who could stretch the floor, and Hakeem would average like 35 and 20, dude. Like, it wouldn't be close.
I got you, but you know what? I think
6
Joker.
blocks.
I think Joker gets 20, 13, and 11 assists. Now, again,
He might, but he wouldn't be as efficient.
that might kill it. You see what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm saying. There's so many. To me, that's a more fun debate because now we got 2 teams, just supporting cast. You know, I mean, do they have an answer for Murray? What does Sam Cassell do off the bench? We talk about 95, right? I mean, because 95 they swept Shaq. I think they don't sweep the Denver Nuggets. I'm just saying. Michael Porter. Who can you talk about Ori? Michael Porter Jr. was kind of playing his best ball at that. And then you got Aaron Gordon who can do dunks. I mean, who deals with Aaron Gordon? See, that's what I'm saying. That's a more fun argument because you're not just taking 2 players. Look, I hate one, bro. I haven't played one-on-one basketball since I think I played one time when I was in my 30s. I don't play one-on-one. I play 5-on-5. So if I'm going to debate basketball, I'm going to go the 5-on-5 route because
one-on-one is the only argument. Kobe wins.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Right. And then I'm gonna say, no, I think give me Kobe right there. Kobe's best team.
You better take Shaq too if you want to win.
Nah, you know what? Yeah, it was Shaq. It was the 0-1 team. It was the 0-1 team that went 16-1 in the playoffs. But let's just say this. Forget. Since it's not fair that he had Shaq, let me take one of his best Pau Gasol teams. Let me take 2009. And I'm going to take LeBron's best team in his whole career. I think we got a compelling argument. I think we got a compelling debate there.
2013 LeBron.
2013 LeBron. And I'm going to tell you why. 2013 LeBron was indeed his best team. But goddamn, were they fucking overrated.
Well, they were overrated, but 2013 LeBron was like a top 3 player of all time.
He was. That was the best. Yeah, that probably was either the top 5. LeBron should have been the first unanimous MVP. I'm not mad at the guy that voted for Melo because I think he had a compelling case.
I think Shaq should have been in 01, actually.
Say again?
I think Shaq should have been in 01.
Shaq should have been in 01. See, a lot. You know what? You said 01. A lot of people were turned off by the fact that Shaq wasn't coming out guns blazing into 2000 at the beginning of that season. See, so that everybody gonna have their own narrative about things again. Yeah. So look, Curry was so perfect in a regular season in 2016. He absolutely when you look at the numbers of Curry, Curry almost led the league in it. Curry was second in the league in true shooting percentage, which a guard almost never does.
Yeah. Insane.
He led the league in
That's
steals.
Why he's a top 10 player.
Bro, and I get it, but you know what? Here's what happened. He sucked ass in the playoffs. And again, I know he wasn't healthy, but he sucked ass in the playoffs, and that puts a damper on that one particular year.
Oh, let me ask T Perfect something real quick. Do you think Curry's better than Magic?
It's tough to say he's better. I think he's far better offensively, and I think he has a better team impact. But I mean, I think LeBron. Obviously, Magic's a more well-rounded player, but he's a lot bigger, so he can do more things like rebound. I think Magic was wildly overrated defensively. I don't know if he was overrated defensively, but I mean, I'm taking Curry over Magic any day of the week.
Oof. Okay.
You're
easily.
taking Curry. Wow. See, we
Okay.
can't be
Like,
friends no more, bro.
Okay.
And see,
I mean, what does
but
Magic
must-
bring me that
you
Curry
know what
doesn't?
it is when you start teams, and again, this is what I'm saying. When you start teams, you must not want to win. Because
Oh,
once
dude.
if
No,
we
my
win a
first.
draft, like if we got a fantasy draft, right, an all-time fantasy. Matter of fact, we could just do this. They do this on 2K too. I think. Shout out to
I've done this.
Michael Jordan fans are the
My
best.
first pick of all time is 70s Kareem.
All right, I got you, but you ain't got the first pick. Let's just say you got the 10th pick, and you want to start your team with a point guard, and Magic and
pick?
Curry's on the board. You're taking Curry over Magic.
Yes.
And if I'm picking after you, I'm gonna bust your ass. You know why? Because I got Magic, and now my next picks, boy, I can take every shooter. I can take every shooter that because I know Magic is going to feed those shooters, give me more of what I need for a team to win, bro.
What?
This is what I'm
Our
saying.
teams are
This
going to
is
be
why
so
this is
stacked.
so
I don't need
funny.
someone to feed them. They're going to feed each other.
You know what I think you do though? You know what I think you do, T? You look at a player value for value, and you don't look at a player in team value. So that's what I try to do. Because
Team
again,
value. Magic had the second most help in NBA history throughout his entire career.
but again, I think if Magic goes to, let's just say Magic go to New Orleans, they wouldn't have won right away. But I think Magic gets there a lot faster than Curry got there with the Warriors.
Why? He wasn't an above average scorer. He was an okay rebounder. He was a transcendent
what I'm
passer.
saying? But you don't. Magic will make. Let's just say it was Adrian Dantley, and then let's just say they get. Hold on. Let's just say the New Orleans Magic, the New Orleans when he got drafted, then they moved to Utah, right? Magic gets Malone at one point in 84. I think that point they own the league. With Malone being what he is, Adrian Dantley being what he is, then they get a marquee. See what I'm saying? Like, bro, Curry needed a lot to go right for him to be a dynasty. And I get Magic was drafted where he was the last piece of what will be a potential dynasty. I get it. He also, again, there's a lot of perfect storms with the Lakers too, because they needed a Dr. Bus. Say again.
You think Magic with that team beats Boston?
Magic with a Malone and all of them?
Yeah.
So he gets Malone. Everybody that gets to the Utah winds up going to Utah, right?
Yeah.
So you got rookie Malone. I think they do. Because he's equal to Bird. And now he's got a Malone at his. Malone is going to go 24 and 25. Then he gets in there. He got Adrian Dantley, everybody else, Thurl Bailey. Bro, you put Magic on that squad, get a sharpshooter around. Bro, see, that's what I'm saying.
Curry's value is just so much higher than Magic's, like in every measurable way.
One reason why I would take LeBron over other players is that LeBron is more of like a Swiss Army knife, right? He's dominant, and then he also fills in a lot of like I could put LeBron at a 4. As a coach, I would use him as a 4, right? That he could create mismatches.
I might take Jason Kidd over Magic.
Ooh, now you're hurting my heart, bro. And I love Kidd.
You said Jason Kidd?
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, the passing's a wash to me. He's a better rebounder than Magic. He's far better defensively. He's a better shooter.
I mean, we kind of sleep on Jason Kidd.
We do sleep on him.
I don't think he's better than Magic.
But then, wait a minute, Magic.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Magic, but
yeah. Especially if we're just taking a team with
Magic, bro.
Especially if we're just taking a team where we want to build correctly. I want my guard to be.
Let me ask you this. Magic came in the league. He was 20 years old.
Okay.
He was literally 20 years old. Do you think there's any part where 21-year-old Steph Curry could have, let's just say all things equal, we just swap eras. 21 Curry could have did what Magic did in Game 6 of that finals?
Rebounding wise, maybe not, but like I mean, he would have had
at
least 7. He would have had at least 7 assists.
But hold on, there, T Perfect. This is the first year of the 3-point shot, and wow, what's the name was actually it was Coach Westhead who kind of did let them kind of play all out, run. Curry's not giving you the playmaking skills, mind you. He's coming off the bench behind Norm Nipson. Well, he's not playing the point guard. So they're going to make him the shooting guard like Norm. They're going to make Norm Nipson the point guard. So he's undersized on defense. See what I'm saying? Like this.
So it depends. Look at Magic's numbers throughout that series. Like he had a great game, sure, but like he was far inferior to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Also, is Curry coming in?
I get it. But see,
is Curry coming in with the league MVP?
Again, all things being equal, Curry is useless without Kareem in that game 6. Magic gave you one of the all-time performances. And you're talking about a 21-year-old, 22-year-old Curry.
Useless.
Say again?
Why is he useless? He would facilitate fine. He would be a better playmaker.
No,
like maybe not.
Norm Nixon got the ball in his hands.
Why is that? Why? So
Because
Curry's only
Norm
there for
Nixon
one
was the
game,
starting point
not the
guard.
entire season.
Norm Nixon was the
Why
starting
wouldn't-
point guard, right?
If
Yes, they
Curry's
used
there-
Magic as the shooting guard / small forward. So
No, make it
Magic
make
is
sense
now
because-
giving you.
So what? Okay, what did Curry play all season then?
Curry's going to play shooting guard, and he's going to probably come off the bench.
Why is he coming up?
Why is he coming off the bench? Because who was your shooting guard of that team?
So he
God damn
wouldn't
it, I just
be.
watched the
So
series.
you're saying
Like he's
you're
got
putting him in a
outplay.
position that's not.
I don't think
You're
you
putting him in
realize
a
though,
position that's
because
not fair,
Curry comes in, that's not his team. That's Monte Ellis's team. Remember, they were going to
Okay,
trade
and
Curry.
they traded for Magic specifically so he could start. They needed a great point guard. They got it. You're putting Curry in a situation that doesn't even apply to him.
No, see, here's the thing. They had to convince him because they already had Norm Nixon.
Would Magic excel in 2016 or 2015 or
I think so.
2022 with that same team?
See, don't tell me you one of these guys to think in this era he would be Ben Simmons.
Magic Johnson. What would he be? Magic Johnson. He wouldn't be as efficient a scorer.
He doesn't have to.
He can't shoot the
He
three.
doesn't have to shoot. He can run in the offense just as well, and he's actually even better because
He's not going to play. He would be like Luka, only worse defensively.
Say again.
He would be like kind of Luka, where he's
okay. Luka
okay
defensively,
rebounder.
right?
He's not as good as offensively
Is
or
Luka struggling in
defensively.
this league?
Huh?
Is Luka struggling in this league?
Offensively, no. But we saw what happened this year on the defensive end. But Luka is far more talented than Magic is offensively.
Offensively?
Being a transcendent passer wouldn't be enough to get him by this league.
I think Magic does some shit like because again, Magic now can get shots. Like Magic wasn't a non-shooter. Magic would figure out where I'm going to be useful. See, I think y'all don't realize this because again, you got to look at Steph Curry's early season. First of all, he couldn't stay healthy. His early season, he couldn't stay healthy. They didn't exactly know if I could play him at point guard. Again, it's him and Monte Ellis. We're going to play both of them together. They didn't win anything, right? They didn't win anything. They were bad teams, right? I know the second year was the lockout year, so it was shortened and all that. And then they bring in Mark Jackson, wasn't exactly a smooth transition. Then they start winning a little bit. But Magic at this point is already being going to finals. And I get, Kareem and all that, the better winning culture. But again, in this league, Magic is, you can fill in the blanks with Magic. Again, he doesn't. First of all, maybe he works on his shot. There was no 3-point line.
Fill the blanks for them. What are you talking about? He came in playing with like the best player in the league, who was MVP. Later on, he got like a top 5 power or small forward of all time to be the main scorer.
It's really simple.
He was losing finals MVPs to his teammates. Like, how are you saying that he was that team? He was a great piece of it, sure, but he wasn't as impactful.
He was exactly what they needed to become a dynasty. And again, he was exactly what they needed to become a dynasty. And not only that, bro, but T-Perfect, they became a dynasty right away.
Can I intervene, gentlemen?
Go ahead, bro.
See, the thing about this Hall of Fame stuff, Hall of Fame coaches, these Hall of Fame coaches don't start their career off as Hall of Fame coaches. They start off as assistant coaches, like Phil Jackson did, Chuck Davis, Pat Riley, Billy Cunningham, A.C. Jones, Greg Popovich. They started Eric Spoelstra, people like that. They start off as assistants most of the time, the majority of the time. I'm going to say 95% of the time. And then as they start winning, then, okay, you win over an extended period of time, whether you're a coach or a player, and you maintain a exceptional level of performance and success. That's what generates the Hall of Fame distinction. You don't start off as a Hall of Famer. You prove it year. So when you go back in retrospect and say, oh, man, he has to go up against the Hall of Famers and all that. It's about that year. What was the team that year going into the heat of the battle, going into the competition? Then you look back on it and you say, okay, yeah, man, Larry Bird, man, he did it. Oh yeah, he definitely first battle. Or Reggie Miller, whoever it is. That's how you do it. But I think a lot of these talking heads now, when they look back at, see, this don't happen in football, man. It don't happen in football and baseball. It's only the NBA. They look back at it, man. They peel back the history, misinterpret it, misrepresent it, and then say, you penalize. You can't. I mean, because basketball is a 5-player sport. No one player can lead a team to a championship, no matter how great they are. So when if you say Kobe had Shaq, or Jordan had Pippen, well, okay, you have to have somebody to coexist as leaders of the team and the two best players to win. So that's a no-brainer to me. It's about your degree of difficulty, the competition that you face, coming through in the big moments when it's absolutely needed. But the difference, the fine line between winning and losing, that's what produces the champions. So when they say this Hall of Fame stuff, man, it's like they use it as a means to degrade whatever player that they're trying to say is not as good as what history really shows who they were when you really peel back the layers and look at what they achieved in their career.
Fact. And I want to jump on that because, again, that's one thing, too. I think when you look at championships, it's almost like the perfect recipe. It's not, bro. Like, everybody expected Boston to win this year, right? And then you kind of, when something like this, you put the pot in the oven, you put it on 425 instead of 400. Maybe 400 was the better way to cook that pie. And putting it on 425 made it a little too crispy. But that's the difference sometimes between winning championships and not. Like, a lot of these teams that you expect to win championships, they don't win because something don't go right. Right? Again, when I think about rookie Magic, that almost was a disaster with Kareem, right? And that they didn't expect much. They know that Magic was the first pick. They knew he was terrific talent, but they didn't expect Magic to be able to step in and do that right away. And they just said, but Magic actually said, Coach, let me start at center. Because their backup center wasn't going to cut it, right? And Magic did that. And so that's what I'm saying. That right there proved that Magic was that type of Swiss Army knife where, and that's what I'm saying, if I put him in this era, I'm going to figure out where to play him. And I know, number one, he is going to be the guy, the main playmaker on my team. He might, again, with these shooters around the perimeter now and these leapers, he might get 16, 18, 19 assists. So if you're going to look at him and just say, well, he's going to struggle. No. You put him at, I believe this. You put any great player in any era, they're going to figure out how to play basketball in that goddamn era because they're going to use their God-given talents and their knowledge of the game to figure. If you put Magic in the 80s, 60s, him and Oscar Robinson's going at it for them. You put Magic in the 90s, him and Jason Kidd would have had some fine battle. I would love to see more Magic versus Gary Payton. What if
I would love to have a draft off. My team would rock. Man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. No, look, again, I know y'all kind of got the little beef, but these guys, Dart, don't you got a debate coming up against Dart?
We're doing like this new show type thing or whatever, where I guess we're trying to figure out where we just kind of do some like round robin debates.
Yeah,
so we're gonna do that Friday.
I know one thing they did is they did the all-time. So all the guys that collaborate on their channel, they did the all-time draft. Yeah. We're taking all-time players, and then we're gonna, I know AOH did. He picked Penny Hardaway with his first round pick.
Wow.
I know some guys
we can do that seriously, on here,
but
if y'all want to. If y'all want to do like a draft or something.
Yeah, I mean we can do that because I don't got. Listen, I've been on for gamers. My old ass been on for gamers. But we could do the draft and do that where they simulate the game, right? I mean, that's only one. That's like one fun way to do it. Now, kind of the only way you can even prove any of this, right? Even though NBA 2K and their all-time rankings ain't exactly the be all end all. But that's what I'm saying. I just feel like from a basketball perspective, looking at it. You pick up Magic Johnson, you put him in any era, and he's gonna figure out what the hell we're doing, bro. We're gonna figure out. Like he ain't gotta be the best 3-point shooter. He can make all the guys best. He can probably up everybody. Look, my man JB got Julius Randle up there as what's the name. You realize that one of the things that is very underrated about Julius Randle is he's a very good playmaker as far as finding guys for 3-point shots, is specifically the corner three. And I think that if Julius Randle gets another, as I said in my preview, if Julius Randle gets 1 or 2 triple doubles, OKC is in trouble because that means Julius Randle is doing that thing that people don't realize Julius Randle be doing. He makes plays. He makes plays in addition to getting his own shot and rebounding the ball and kind of giving you that. He ain't the most apt defender, but what Randle will do is he won't make it easy coming down the lane with his 6'9", 260 frame, 255 frame, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So again, I think Magic, while he didn't have to be the great, you don't have to be a great shooter. Maybe he figures out, because they look at this. Even Jason Kidd, who had they called him Ace Kidd. Well, guess what? When Jason Kidd retired, he was second on in the all-time. He was the second or third in the all-time list for 3-pointers made. So what Jason Kidd did was figure out, okay, we're getting to more of a 3-point shooting era. Well, let me figure out how to. Jason Kidd was never a pure shooter. What Jason Kidd did was learn how to get to the line when they play off of him and hit that set shot, which made him a better overall player.
Give me Chris Paul over Magic Johnson.
Bro, you're bugging. You're bugging.
Chris Paul. I don't know about
Get it.
that.
I get it. And that's based on what you see. And I'm just telling you, right? Because Magic never had to develop. No, Magic made a few 3-point shots, but Magic, again, when Magic retired, the team he played, before Magic retired, he played in the finals. The team he played against, Michael Jordan's Bulls, took 10 3-point shots.
Wait, do you have Magic over Kobe?
Yeah, I got Magic over Kobe.
Why?
Because Magic never had a losing season. And I think Magic, again, one thing I think I'm going to start a team with Magic over Kobe. Even though I know Kobe probably at his peak, he'd probably give me more dominant performance. But guess what? I don't need the dominant performance. See, one thing I love about Magic, Magic is and Jason Kidd is a few of these guys that exist where they can take 6 shots in a game and dominate the fucking game. They can take 6 shots and dominate. You know why? Because he's taking 6 shots. Even the Joker is one of those guys. Joker can probably dominate the game taking 10 shots or less.
Oh, that didn't work today.
I know it didn't work today. Obviously, they played a superior team. But that's what I'm saying. The Joker could dominate taking 10 shots because the Joker could the Joker could get 25 assists in that motherfucker.
Sure, but I need my best player taking 20 shots a game to score the ball.
See, I look at it differently, bro. See, again, I'm a passer. When I get on the court, I don't give a fuck about scoring. I give a fuck about winning. And then I realize, right, I'll be playing these 3-on-3s and 4-on-4s and sometimes 4s. And I'm like, bro, I try to tell the guys, look, I know I'm not moving as fast as I'm getting older and I'm not in the best shape. But y'all realize that every time I touch the ball, we score? Because I'm one of them guys, you can score. Let me get the rock, and I'm gonna hit you right where you catch the ball, and you're gonna score 9 points. I'm gonna have 8 assists. We win. You can say that you're the best player, but we're gonna win because me.
Well, this is the reason also why people argue for Isaiah Thomas or Magic, because if you put Magic on the same Pistons team, are they as good? Because Magic would look to facilitate, but you have to have, if you're going to do that, you have to have a depth scorers. You've got to have a Byron Scott. You got to have a James Worthy. You've got to have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You've got to have a prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You got to have guys who can put the ball in the bucket. Did the Pistons have that? Sure, a little bit.
I'm gonna come back with you with? I'm gonna come back with you with the rookie performance. In a closeout game, he got 42. Because the thing is, Magic could get you to 40 if he needed to, and he proved that in his rookie year.
His stats were okay his rookie year. He didn't do that consistently.
See, you're looking but see, this is what I'm saying. You're not realizing what a chameleon Magic was. Magic can dominate the game, both getting to 40 and dominate the game, getting to 10.
Yes, Magic could do that, but like you said, does he adapt, like you're saying, to any era? It's debatable.
So
he certainly wouldn't be a 30-point
very next season, right? The very next season, Bird struggled offensively. And because he struggled offensively, Cornbread Maxwell won the MVP. But you're going to tell me that Bird, did the Celtics win the championship without Bird? Because while Bird struggled with the shooting, Bird also averaged about, 15 rebounds and 7-8 assists. So again, what Bird is now, he's another one. This is the thing about Curry. This is the thing about Curry. When Curry's shot is off, he's fucking useless.
Yeah, and again, Bird was drafted to a top 10 roster of all time as well.
Well, not necessarily. Rookie year, they weren't that good. No, what the great Red Auerbach did
They
was take
was 28 wins the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Year before, and then they
Yeah,
made,
the year
made
before.
improvements
No,
for
no.
his
See, again,
huge
T
forward.
Perfect. T Perfect. You said he goes drafted to a great roster. No, that wasn't the truth. He was
No, they had a
drafted.
great roster.
No.
They made a couple pieces.
Listen,
They went
T
from
Perfect.
28 wins to 60 wins. They didn't give McHale and Parrish until after his
The
rookie year.
second year. And here's the thing, T Perfect. You're now not realizing what Red Auerbach did was trade the first pick, which they acquired, which the Lakers did the same thing. They got the first pick from but he traded the first pick, which they acquired from Golden State or whatever. They acquired and they traded to Golden State. And they got Parrish, who was at the time considered a lazy motherfucker. And they traded for the third pick. So they got Parrish in the third pick for the first pick. So what the great Red Auerbach did was pull a coup and got Larry Bird his second and number 3 guy. Because so you can say he was drafted to a great team, and they like the man said, they won 60 games and from 28 to 60. But what
it was basically the same thing. Magic was the final piece. Bird
no,
was the
I
final
get
piece.
that
They
part.
still
But see,
had
again,
guys.
what you're not understanding,
They still had guys who were scoring.
before they got Parrish and McHale. And remember, Parrish was already in the league a few years with a bad
They
reputation.
still had you know who was on the roster? They still had Nate Archibald. They still had Cedric Maxwell, Dave Collins, Chris. All these guys were. They had
they were again,
9 double-digit figures.
those same
scores.
guys won 28 games before Bird. So you got to be fair.
Bird's a top 10 player of all time.
And again, that goes to show you where he moves the needle. That's what I'm telling you, bro.
Everyone moves the needle.
Yeah.
Like nobody's arguing that. You're arguing that Magic would be the best player today.
Hold on, bro. Curry does not move the needle like that, especially early on. Because again, Curry is the guy. The point I'm trying to make is when Curry's shot is off, he is now useless. And matter of fact, let's keep it real. Curry now needs an accessory. And you know what that accessory is? He needs Draymond Green. Because without Draymond Green, you see Curry and his teams struggle their ass off. And what I see with Magic is without Kareem in one game, Magic came in and gave you some of the things that Kareem would have given. He even hit the goddamn baby hook. These are the things we got to understand, though. Again, let's go.
No, Curry is still going to be. He's still an amazing playmaker. You must not watch much Curry.
Amazing playmaker. He's a good. He's not the greatest passer.
And he's a consistently great scorer. Like that's the whole thing you don't understand. It's like you're saying when his shot is off, which is almost never
over the long haul. But I'm telling you, on one particular night, if Curry's shot is off, he's unplayable. Where if Magic's shot and Bird's shot, yes. If Curry, let me ask you this: if Curry is getting you 11 points that night, if you just see Curry something is off, I mean, I'm going to get Curry. You say Curry's the better defender.
Everybody's had off nights.
Magic Curry out for defensive purposes. I would take Magic out for defensive purposes. I don't even take Bird out for defensive purposes.
Yeah, because Magic was a cone defensively.
A cone that led the league in steals, and I know Curry led the league in steals, but Magic did it twice.
And that's the most overrated stat of all time.
I mean, I get it. Again, I'm not expecting him to be a lockdown defender, but I really think and that's what I'm saying. But another thing, as I'm saying, if that 3-point shot is, if Curry on a 3 for 21 night, first of all, Magic is not going to go 3 for 21 because if he realizes the shot is not going off, Magic is going to fill in the other boxes. He's going to start. He's going to pass more. He's going to. Again, Magic was so smart. He knew he instinctively dropped in a double team to get assists.
Also, you were leaving out the part where if Magic had an off night, it doesn't matter because he was on the most stacked roster in the league for I'm
going to put him on a bad fucking roster. I'm going to put him on a bad roster. And yes, he could have had a lot of money. See, if you put him on a bad roster, I'll tell you this: if he would have, because again. The Lakers got that pick from from New Orleans for Gail Goodrich, right? In '76, they traded Gail Goodrich and the first round pick, which again they didn't think the top one. I don't even think you could top one protect it. You just traded your first round pick. So the Jazz were a bad team, and they got the first pick with the coin flip, and because they were a bad team, the Lakers wound up getting Utah, who just they wanted us. So. They never make that trade, and Utah keeps their pick, and they pick Magic. I think Magic starts averaging 25, 26, and I think eventually that team becomes dominant. I'm saying they get the Malone. I'm saying they get all the guys they wound up getting. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's all theoretical.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. So when we do, bro, these whole player debates are all theoretical. What I'm saying is, I've seen Curry jump shot be off, and he is useless. I've never seen Magic be useless in a game. Never.
I'm still taking Curry because we saw what he did when he had Magic Johnson levels of help, like in 2016, 17, 18, even 19.
And I've also seen him fail miserably with Magic Johnson level up. And Magic failed too, but Magic got to 9 again. He got to 9 finals in 12 years. He spent 75% of his playing career making the NBA finals.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Now,
what do you mean? Okay,
right.
and what, did he do that by himself?
When
No.
you say LeBron made 8 finals in a row, again, that's Magic's career. That segment of LeBron's career when he was that dominant is Magic's career. And so now you got to throw the other parts of LeBron's career where he made 1 final in 7 years, and then he's only been out the first round twice. So he made 1 final.
Magic was the best player in the league for exactly, 1 year? Maybe in 87 you can make that argument. Otherwise, it was Bird. It was either Jordan or even Moses Malone, right? Hakeem was up there. Also, Magic Johnson, again, when you're ranking them, help and things like that do matter. He lost Finals MVP to James Worthy. He should have lost it to Kareem in 80, by all counts.
If Magic's job is to make everybody around him better, am I losing? If his job is to make, like we say, guys make every. See, that's what I would think about LeBron. He makes everybody around him better. Why did he make 80 better?
The alpha dogs are always going to rank higher. The guys whose job it is to be the scorer.
And see, sometimes being the best alpha dog is to know to elevate another guy. See, one thing about Stockton, we all had the Stockton debate. I don't think Stockton was top 10 because I don't think he needed to be top 10. I think Stockton's job was to make everybody around him better, which means, number one, he definitely made Malone better. And because he made Malone better, Malone was better. Malone was better than him because a point guard's alpha number one job is to make everybody around him optimize.
Okay, so if he's not a top 10, how can Magic Johnson be when they were almost the same player?
No, they weren't. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So the answer is because Magic had MVPs, All NBA selections. He was a little bit better.
The reason why Magic had those is because he was the better player. I want you to understand, right? I want you to understand. Again, I look at the 85, and mind you, 85, Kareem won. But I look at the game log, and I look at the consistency of Magic's playmaking in that game log in the playoffs. And it's something that's never been seen before. Never. Like, he never had less than 11 assists. Even, like, you realize to get an assist is contingent on the player you're passing the ball to making the shot.
Sure, but I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy here. And CW.
No, it's not an hypocrisy because I think you think it's an L to not win MVP. Like,
it's not an L. It just matters in the rankings though, because what you're saying is that
it's circumstantial.
Because you're using the same logic to discredit John Stockton.
So wait a minute. Let's keep it real. It's possible that the 80 MVP that Magic won should have went to Kareem, and the 85 one that Kareem won should have went to Magic. Then we're still stuck on the same level. But guess what? Now, by 85, Magic has his 3rd ring. And then you know what Magic did? In the same NBA that Stockton was playing in, he then won 87 and 88. And I want you to understand this. By 88, no team had won back-to-back in 19 years.
I know.
Think about that. So that was the era. That was the era where it was really, really hard to win and then go back and win. And mind you, you did that with the pressure of Riley, because that's one thing. In 87, when they won it at the parade, Riley said, "We're doing it again next year." And that was like Riley put the pressure on that team to go back-to-back. You're going back-to-back with Larry Bird in it. You're going back-to-back with the Pistons on it come up. You're going back-to-back. Like, wasn't that easy?
See,
One day,
and this is all stuff that is irrelevant to their conversation because what we're talking about here is I want an answer from you as to why. So, John Stockton, Matt Johnson played at roughly the same time, right? They're I would say
yes,
Stockton's
sir.
prime overlaps, but here's the
Yes,
thing:
sir.
if John Stockton and you're saying it's a job like doesn't matter who's the best player, blah blah blah, like the job that make everyone better. John Stockton was arguably better at that than Magic Johnson. He averaged almost as many assists. He had more assist titles.
You
He was just as
all right,
he was
right.
just as
He was
efficient.
we
Hold
wrong
on,
though.
he was just as efficient as a shooter for his size and position. He was a decent rebounder. He was arguably a better defender. But the reason why everyone, including myself, will say that Magic Johnson was the better player was because of the accolades and achievements that Magic Johnson had that Stockton did not win.
Quick
And
question.
that's
All
why
right. So
they
here's
matter.
what I do, bro. Here's what I do, Travis. You just said he made everybody around him better. I'm gonna tell you why that's not true. Because number one, he had the number. Well, Magic had the number one scorer, and he had the number one scorer in post-prime years, right? Kareem was by 85 was not scoring the way he was in 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, right?
So that was still 5 years
Magic
of
was
basically his
winning
prime.
with older, aging Kareem. And right, he actually lost an MVP to James Worthy because you know what? Magic was going to feed Worthy regardless of his ego. See, here's the thing. But Stockton had Malone, the second all-time leading scorer, completely in his prime. Now I'm gonna ask you this: since he made everybody around him better, why didn't they get to the finals in '97? Wait a minute, hold on. And again, I'm gonna say this about Stockton because I put over Stockton this way: him and Malone from '88 to '02 were playoff fixtures, and that's great. So they were consistently good. But here's the thing: because he wasn't as good as Magic, you talk about being a better defender. Okay, let's just say he was a better defender. Here's why I'm gonna defeat that part. I can't put Stockton on Dale Ellis. I can guard Stockton. I can guard him with Magic. I can't put Stockton on a Grant Hill. Even though I know Magic didn't play, but Grant, like Magic was big enough and somewhat speedy enough and somewhat savvy enough to stay with it. I could have never put Stockton on Bird himself.
That's a bad argument because you couldn't guard Akeem Olajuwon with Gary Payton, but he was still a far better defender than Magic Johnson.
But see, that's what I'm. See, you say this. But see, that's the subjective of saying better defender because I can only use. You're a great defender, but I can only use you in one way. I can only use you on quick guard.
Use them the way that it makes sense according to your team's scheme. Gary Payton was a fantastic perimeter defender. You're not going to use him to double down. I
understand this about Magic with his size and versatility. I can use him in more different ways. And because, hold on now, Travis, because now I'm going to connect it. Because I can use him in more different ways, I now can win. I have a better chance at winning. And see, that's what I'm saying. Stockton, as terrific as he was limited in what he could give. He can't give you triple doubles like Magic can. He can't give you 18 rebound performances. Like you said, he's a better rebounder as per position. Really, where's the proof?
That's wildly overrated. You're talking about someone who is 6'9". Like he doesn't make him a better player.
See what I'm saying? So now you want Magic to apologize for being 6'9".
No, I want you to actually admit that Magic was better for the reasons I mentioned. Because I'm not debating that Stockton's a better player overall.
Because Magic's ability ceiling is higher than Stockton's ability ceiling. See, Stockton was great at getting out of what you can get out of him. Nobody expected Stockton when they drafted him to be an all-time great. They expected that from Magic. Magic can't. If you're going to tell me me versus Stockton, again with them on the two on the same team, that's the greatest team ever assembled. But again, you're talking about a guy that got to 9 finals was the guy that gets to 2 and lost.
Yeah, that doesn't speak to their abilities at all. Like you're all about context. Magic consistently had better teams than Stockton. That's why he was making those finals. And he was in one of the worst Western conferences of all time.
So you're right. Maybe because Jerry West was a little bit more shrewd. Again, they made a lot of good trades. They got a trade to get the Worthy in the first. Like to me, it's almost unfair, right? That the Lakers, after winning a couple championships, get the first round pick and they had the
MVP winners, Kareem. They had James Worthy. They had DPOY, Cooper. Everything that Magic was not, that team filled in to cover up for whatever deficiencies he had. He wasn't. an explosive scorer. He wasn't a great defender, but it doesn't matter. They had guys who, like, basically Magic could just sit there and pass. Was he a capable scorer? Sure. But again, the point is mood. Is that for the same reason why LeBron's over Kobe and why Stockton is not.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. The Utah Jazz had every opportunity to get all the things that Magic had.
It doesn't matter.
It's not his
It's
fault
like
that they did it.
Who cares?
But
It didn't
if
happen.
you truly made everybody better, then
I'd
maybe
like to hear y'all argue
Check
the
this out.
91
yeah.
against one of the Utah Jazz teams because y'all both
You
making
know
good
what?
points.
Maybe we should do that.
Check this out. Check
Because
this out,
we got
brother. Check this out.
Y'all
If I
making
can
good points.
intervene real quick. See, check this
Go
out.
ahead.
See, in this current NBA landscape, when we go revisionist mode, the talk is about what players couldn't do. But see,
Yes.
in real time, it's about what they can do. And that's the sign of real team building. Meaning it's like, let's say, because I think every superstar that's been in this league has been in a position where a team has been built around them to where they're in position to vie for a title. So, see, the way the team was built up back then, it was predicated on the superstar ultimately leading them.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going on now, particularly in these past 15 years, particularly in the super team era, as the one the one player said recently, well, our role players weren't good enough. So now the onus is contingent and placed on the role players, versus back then it's placed on the superstar. So that's why back then you had more clarity as to who's who. So when we talk about the Magic of the world, like Ro just said, Utah had tremendous teams, man. Like they had Thurl Bailey. Thurl Bailey come out NC State. He's part of that national championship team with Lorenzo Charles and Derek Whitburn, Sidney Lowe. They beat Fight Slammer Jammer. So what I'm saying is, Karl Malone, to me, was better in the late 80s than the version of Karl Malone that was selected to the Dream Team.
Mm-hmm.
Stockton was giving you more assists per game in the late 80s than what he wound up doing later on in his career. So and then they had what's the cat's name? The Bulls picked him up. The Bulls picked Bobby Hansen.
Okay.
Mark Eaton. Then later on they had Blue Edwards. Blue Edwards wasn't no joke. So what I'm saying is, ultimately, man, every team, Utah was a perennial contender, right? Here, perennial contender.
Mm-hmm.
So they was winning in 95, they won 60 games. So that means, to me, if you win 60 games, that means technically your team is good enough to vie for a title. It comes down to the superstars. So what I'm trying to say is, we sit there and say, well, Magic had, well, the thing is, Kareem retired in 1989. And I love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But Magic led them to the finals.
Yeah.
With a
Hold on. I'm gonna let you hold on. Jermaine, let me let you finish. Because here's a good idea. Here's a good idea for our debate, right? And CW, I heard you suggest it. Why don't you do this? Because remember I told you the parameters of our debate. Why don't you take the best Stockton Utah team, right? And I'm going to take the 91. Matter of fact, I'd even take because 90 wouldn't qualify. I'm going to take the 91 or the 80. No, I'm going to take the 91. I'm going to take the 91 Lakers, right? Because their team was a runner-up, didn't win the finals, and I know I still got Worthy. There's no Coop, and I only have Scott and Worthy. No Kareem. Divac is my center now. Why don't you pick your best Utah team and we debate that out?
And see, the thing is too is like, okay, when Magic was out there on the court, he made everybody better. He made Byron Scott better. He made Worthy better. He made AC Green better. He knew when to get the ball to Kareem. When Magic was retired and went in the lineup, all the production came down. It's not knocking the other players, it's showing how great Magic was. And what I'm trying to say is, in today's climate, the prominent voices tend to look at what a player can't do. Like, see, a lot of these player empowerment driven teams, the win out teams, that's how they get confused. They be looking at, they be like, oh man, this dude can't do this, he can't do that. But the teams that are rolling right now, that are balling, that's in the playoffs right now, they looking at, well, this is what this guy can do. So we can bring this guy on. Okay, we can build on what this player can do, our top player, and you keep building, adding the pieces on. That's how you build a championship team. A lot of these teams, they operate in reverse. And then what happens is you devalue more often than not your young players. Your young players get sacrificed to bring in the veteran stars. Well, the chemistry's not there. And then everybody looking for answers like, well, why couldn't they get it done this year? Because it takes time to legitimately build a championship laden squad. Because only one team gonna win a year. Only one team gonna win it. So what I'm saying is, man, at this say Magic Johnson was that dude, man.
And yeah, I know you hiking for work, man. Yo, appreciate the contributions, man. Yeah. For real.
And that's for any great player. Yeah, that's for any great player.
But Travis, I don't know if you. I just put it. I'm actually gonna highlight it on stage. I think this will be a great debate. Like I'm gonna just, since we delved into this Magic versus Stockton thing, would you be up for debating the best Utah team against the '91 Lakers?
Sure. So we're arguing which team was better.
Which team would win a 7-game playoff series?
Oh, which team would win? Oh, against each other? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that, because again, what I'm doing here, there's no Kareem. Kareem is gone. He's retired, right? Worthy is still great, but okay, you got Malone. Right? Yep. So now, again, you got Malone. You can either put Osatag, Eaton. I don't know which one's made the Western
91 Lakers are still a top 2 defensive team in that league despite Magic Johnson. So
despite Magic Johnson. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make the argument they are because Magic Johnson.
Oh, wasn't because of Perkins or D-Box or Worthy? Okay.
Some unbiased voters, and we could, that was
that's a good one to do.
Let's do it. Like I said, I'm down.
Yeah. No, that's a good one to do because I know we're sitting here and I'm like, I say, all right, strip. That's my point. Again, we don't have much. See, I'm one of these guys that think if Magic never caught the virus, I think Magic would have been an MVP level player for at least another 5 years. I really believe I actually think he might have been an MVP level player at 40 because what Magic did.
No way.
He didn't need to jump out the gym to do. He didn't need to be the quickest. He didn't need to be the fastest. He didn't, like I said, you want to say he was a cone on defense? I need to see that guy that just lit Magic up for 55.
You can watch any tape of people just blowing by Magic.
You know what I could do with Magic that I couldn't do? No, because I'm talking, I could guard Bernard King, who was the most feared scorer of the 80s.
Not one-on-one, you can.
I think Magic would have, and again, Magic will tell you himself, goddamn, this guy Bernard King was so
Isaiah Thomas destroyed Magic on 1 foot in the finals in '88.
Okay, you don't think he could have done that to Stockton? No,
of course he could.
Mind you, Magic wasn't necessarily the guy guarding Stockton. Isaiah.
Of course not.
See, that's what I'm saying. So then see, again,
you're never going to put Magic on your best guy. That's why.
Wow, you really hate Magic defensively.
I do.
And I really, maybe I should make my unbiased eye why. But, Magic was, again, just like Bird. No, they're not the greatest lockdown one-on-one defenders, but their basketball IQ was enough to make them be effective. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to affect your shot. I can guard a Bernard King. I can never guard a Bernard King with a John Stockton. You know what I'm saying? Like either my small forward is going to get torched, or John Stockton's going to get torched. For damn sure. I'm just saying. So that defense shit. I get it, but yeah, we're going to do this. Best you pick. You got it, and I got 91. Again, this is the worst conference finals team, right? The Magic have been on. There's no Kareem. There's no old Kareem. There's no young Kareem. There's no Kareem.
So we're gonna do this at next Sunday at 10 a.m. or what would it be for your time.
So you want to suggest that this because a part of your show, right? And we get to do it, but I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? And we could also do it here or whatever.
Well, we can do it here because I don't think they're going to want us to do it there because they're going to have another topic and they'd have to stay late.
Yeah,
and I
it's
can't
almost
initiate the show.
like doing this whole what's stocked in the top 10 90s player again because I know y'all got sick of that.
But we can do it here and like get whoever you want judging. I don't really care.
That's cool. That's cool. And
just let me know the exact time because that show is 6 a.m. my time when that starts. It's usually done
crazy.
after like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so, bro, how do you do that, bro? You come in at 6 a.m.
I'm about to move back, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, no, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, bro.
It's tough.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Like, I'm up at 110, and I know I got, so we're going to end this soon because I got hosting capabilities, but my man CW probably got to get to Brad. And
keep you guys up. It's like been over 3 hours.
Yeah, no doubt. But this was a great show. Thank you, Travis, for pulling up, man. I know, again, we don't agree, but I am a fan of you guys' content, bro. Y'all know how to really and again, y'all got a good show on Sunday too. That y'all y'all do Saturday night and Sunday. And even though I don't agree with 90% of what y'all say, I think y'all got a good show.
No, I really enjoy no, man, I appreciate that. I thank you for showing up and being one of our biggest contributors. And always what I like too is like I don't really care what the people agree or disagree with us with as long as they come up and express their opinions and they're there to they don't hide the comments and they pull up and they state it, which I really respect. And you're one of those guys. And also you showed up for the debate, which was awesome. And obviously we're here chopping it up, so that's really all you can ask. And it's great content, and I look forward to Sunday.
No doubt. Appreciate it. JB and CW, y'all got any? Because I know we about to wrap this up, bro. I got anything I want to say real quick?
I think they're asleep.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna hit CW on home. I'm gonna see if I can end it because like I said, sometimes I'm on my phone and sometimes I don't have the ending. I don't have the capability sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And then I need CW to actually end the show. So good night, fellas. This was a great show. It's probably the best episode yet of 10 Toes Down podcast. But bro, this is what we do here. We talk basketball, man. It's never personal. It's always, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all good.
What's this called? It's called 10 Toes Down?
10 Toes Down podcast. And that
got it. Okay.
The theory
awesome.
is I'm not one of these guys that will say one thing this year and next year I got a whole totally different stance. No, bro. I say my stance is my stance. Again, I can be proven wrong, but we're very rarely off. But me and Jermaine been talking about this Lakers stuff for years and all that. So, yo,
I was a Lakers fan until LeBron joined. Then I didn't like him anymore.
I got you. And it's funny. I was a Laker fan. I was a Lakers with my second team until Kobe joined, and I couldn't stand Kobe. You know why I couldn't stand Kobe? Because he wasn't as good as LeBron. Because he would no. I didn't even know LeBron existed at that point. But he went on to Moesha. And they gave him a line. When I take a test, I choke like the New York Knicks.
Damn, was that an 04?
Who the fuck is this rookie coming in talking about my Knicks? Like, bro, we ain't.
Was that when the Jazz swept them?
Exactly. But no, I just thought he was a little arrogant, a little aloof, that. But one thing I never did, like I never knocked his talent and his performance, and I respected his ability. But I just like, bro, you gonna come? You should have been like, nah, bro, I gotta play them Knicks. Charles Oakley might lay me the fuck out. I ain't saying this lie, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It was funny. You know what I mean? It was funny at the time, I guess. I just was laughing.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So we go ahead and hit. I'm gonna hit CW. I know he's probably.
All right, man. Peace out. We'll catch you later.
Later, no doubt. All right.
All right, gentlemen.
Peace out.
All right. Appreciate y'all coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'll holler at y'all later.
All right.